epic video package, and JR actually said, "There's nothing in the world like WWE Dynamite." 5 seconds after saying AEWTix.com. I'm not fired up about it. I'm not angry. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, man, that's funny to me, objectively.
I thought it was funny, and I was having fun with it. People, when I would tweet about it, or like, I did an article poking fun at it, and dude, even our sorry, I was looking at something. Even our show on Thursday was poking fun at it with the thumbnail and everything. Yes. And people are like actually offended by it. I was like, dude, the Young Bucks are making fun of this stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not that serious. Like, it's good. We can have fun with this.
It's one of those things where it's a good example of people being so like, they're charged so much by the toxicity that they think everything has to be a fist fight,
Yeah.
And they need a little perspective on like, most of this stuff doesn't matter at all. Now, look, I'm not sure about Jim Ross's commentary. What I mean is the discussion. I would ideally not have him say WWE Dynamite, but Jim's obviously a bigger topic, which I think everyone knows. Everyone's stance on that because we all share it, right? Like he's cooked, ain't he? Bless his heart, he's finished. Like we all know the deal. But what I mean is, it isn't a big deal. People joking about it. They're not like enemies. They're not. Some of us just thought it was funny. It's wrestling, for goodness sakes.
The weird defending stuff is crazy as well because people are like, JR's a legend, he makes a mistake, blah 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 blah. Like those people are strange because it's like, yeah, okay, and when he makes a mistake, we're allowed to make fun of him. Like, LeBron James is a legend. If he misses the clutch free throw, people are going to be like, oh, LeBron wash, get him out of here, and shit. Like, it happens. It happens. So, I don't...
Yes.
It's strange. It's strange.
Look, here's the thing with JR, and we can do this conversation because, frankly, we have nothing else to talk about. Welcome to all the pals joining us. We appreciate it. We're a little bit early, but that's what we do, right? That's the gimmick. So, I think, look, here's the thing with that. In our hearts, I think Jeremy, and I'll speak for Jeremy on this, but if he disagrees, he can say so. I don't think we believe he should be in the booth anymore for Dynamite. I think Jim can be useful as a sit-down interview guy because he has such credibility. I personally don't think he should be in the booth. That's just my opinion, okay? I will say I do have a problem with when people like... I do think people sometimes get a little out of hand on Twitter. I think there's a difference between having fun in the way you and I might and like... Some people are really spiteful about Jim, and it's like he is an old guy, Like I ain't trying to like at Tony Khan, please fire this old fuck. Like I'm not tweeting that shit, Like I'm not. It's just not my nature. So I get why people get defensive because some of it is hurtful and spiteful, but at the same time, you got to be able to draw the line between that and us just being like, that was funny.
Yeah.
Like, now Andrew points out the Anna Jay thing, and like that's a way worse. That's something we should all objectively is like we are expected to talk about that. And I don't know if we did a good enough job. I can't remember. It's so goddamn long ago. But like we should have talked about that for sure because that's like an objective. No, do not do that ever again. I mean, actually, let's be fair. Ever again, like most announcers are done if they say that once, right? Like,
yeah,
there's no point lying about it. That was insane.
Yes, I mean, I don't need Jim Ross in the booth. I think his New Japan stuff pretty much killed it for me, and I was willing to give him a chance with AEW. He's like, he just clearly didn't care about that product. Maybe he'll care about the AEW product, and for the most part, he doesn't. And then he's making mistakes and everything, and it doesn't seem like he's very happy doing it either. Maybe that's just his personality now. So, yeah, I don't need him in the booth. When he makes a mistake, it has nothing to do with his on the AEW WWE level. It has nothing to do with his legacy or anything. But look, I'm allowed to dunk on the man if he fucks up. People are gonna dunk on me.
Hello.
If I fuck up.
Fightful Faith.
We got JJ resubscribing 7 months. We've been doing this shit for 7 months. Jesus Christ.
Awful guys.
Yeah. An Airplane Burger King. Tremendous. Tremendous name. Thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Hello, everyone. We are here. We haven't been here since Thursday. Yes, chocolate. I did have a great weekend in I can't muster up enough energy to do the Michael Jordan North Carolina gimmick there. I was singing so much. I had an 8.5 hour drive. A lot of car karaoke performances, Joseph. A lot of car karaoke.
I can imagine. That's that explains why you're not motivated to do the North Carolina. I respect it. I get it.
I killed my voice. I was singing "Burn" by Usher. You know that song, Joseph?
It sounds like something that I would know if you played it. Don't play it because I don't want to get copyright struck. We've done that enough recently, but I do not know it off the top. No, I'm not a big Usher guy, Jeremy. To be honest,
this is one that like that CD when it came out, Confessions when it came out was like huge, and it came out before your time. You were still a young Joseph at that time.
Yes. I'm still young, Jeremy.
I know you were younger, Joseph.
Yes, that's better. I like that better.
But it came out, and like that CD was just everywhere. And "Burn" was like one of the big singles off of it. And man, I go in on that. If you're in Chicago for All Out weekend, I'll be at the karaoke bar, probably performing that song. Yeah.
You know this. I don't know if you've heard about the zoo trip that's happening in St. Louis, Jeremy.
No.
There's like 10 people on this thing now, and it's getting awful out of hand. There's a lot of characters. I don't know if you want to join us or not. And there's some folks that I don't even know. The confirmed shoot is like hosting a trip around the St. Louis Zoo. It's getting out of hand. Look, these things happen, right? These things happen in May. These things happen in St. Louis. But the idea of you karaoke plus this, if you do that in St. Louis, I don't know what your plan is in St. Louis. Are you going to be bringing the vocals to St. Louis, or are you just keeping that to Chicago? Are you going to differentiate these events?
No. I'm doing a tour in St. Louis too with the.
It's a tour.
With Chicago and St. Louis. We're shutting down karaoke bars in both cities, man.
Wow, fair. It's very, very fair. It's weird that like it feels like we haven't done one of these in a long time. You said it was Thursday. And it's like. Is that a long time ago? I don't know.
Considering we usually do them like every other day, going 3 days feels like a while.
Indeed.
Whiskey Dick Vitale, tremendous name. Appreciate you resubscribing 5 months. Oh my God. Said, what's up, fellas? Hope everyone's holiday weekend has been swell. Joseph, you don't celebrate Independence Day in England.
No, we don't. No. But we had a bit. I mean, Saturday was England. England played them on 4-0. So
I saw that. I watched that game.
That was like a holiday here. You know.
I hear it's coming home. Can you confirm?
Yeah. People are very happy right now about this stuff, Jeremy. It's going to end in tears as it always does. But for now, there is immense positivity about our nation of cynicism. So that was our holiday. But believe it or not, no, we do not celebrate Independence Day for our American friends. We do not. I mean, maybe we should.
You guys don't send us like a fruit basket or anything?
Oh God, let's not go down that. Do you remember that whole deal? Do you remember that craze? Is that still a thing? Does TK get the fruit baskets now?
I bet he does. 100%.
He's got so many of them, right? Yeah. He gets so. Yeah, of course he does. Listen, I'm not going to get involved in whether or not it's coming home, but like, I think it's coming home.
There you go. I'll be watching. What time's the game tomorrow? We're doing BP Dub tomorrow.
England or Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. What time's Italy? My friend's a big Italy fan, so.
Yeah, let's try and schedule BP Dub around that because that sounds like a Titanic clash.
It's at 3:00. So do you want to do BP Dub at 1?
Yeah, we could do 1 or we could do 5. What would you prefer?
I gotta watch. I gotta watch the great show known as NWA Power at 6:00.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know.
We'll do 1 if you can.
Okay.
I mean, get a couple of hours. Yeah, that game's gonna be. I mean, it's hard for me to like enjoy that game because it's just all locked in to Wednesday. You know.
Yeah. I get it.
Wow, there's actually some positive about the England squad. That's very good. Yeah, Italy, look, I'm not deluded here, folks. I get the situation. There are 4 teams left. I think they're all very good. I think the Italians will beat the Spanish. I'm pretty cocksure on that. But anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, can't it, Jeremy?
My friend is very nervous. He's glad they're playing Spain instead of France. Because I guess France was the tough team there, so he's glad they're playing, Spain. But he's, I feel like just like the English fans, seems like Denmark's a good draw. right? Like, I don't feel like
For a
Denmark
semi-final.
is a soccer
Look,
powerhouse here.
they played excellently in the tournament, and they've obviously got this tremendous sort of emotional. How would you phrase it? Not a weight. It's inspiring them, right? They've got an inspiration with what happened to Christian Eriksen, and I mean that you had the narrative with the skill, and it's like they are formidable. However, in fear of being dismissive, because I listen, I have no doubt we could lose this game. I'm being honest here. If you'd have told England fans they'd be in the semi-finals playing Denmark, I think they'd be happy with that, you know. So we'll see what they do.
You guys are trolls. That's your whole gimmick.
Another one. Jay Ben's resubscribed. So this must have been like our debut when everyone was subscribed, because we're getting a lot of these re-ups from the veterans.
It's the first of the month. It's the first of the month. So
okay.
Everybody's
is that what it is? Is what do you mean the first? Like the 5th is the first? What?
I mean like the first week of the month.
Oh,
right. Because we started we debuted the Twitch.
Yeah,
the first week of January. So.
I thought it was like a different Twitch calendar. It was very scary.
Twitch starts on the 5th of every month.
Oh my god. I don't know. How does that happen, Jeremy? How do stateside folks pick a soccer team to follow in the Euros? Do they tend to pick someone, family history, or some such?
Personally speaking, I have no idea because I don't have a soccer team. So I don't know. My friend, he's not a United States. I mean, he's a U.S. citizen, but he's not U.S. born. He's actually he's Canadian, but he's actually Nabib Nurmagomedov's second cousin. So he's like got that bloodline in him as well.
Jesus wept. That seems very impressive. You said that like it would be like a sort of half famous name rather than a sports icon, but I respect it.
Yeah. So he picked his team just. He also that's the Juventus fan. That's the only reason I know like anything about them. As far as like how I pick my team, I don't know. I root for. I want my friends to be happy, so I just root for my friends' teams. So if they're happy, then I'm happy.
That's very fair. I must say there have been times in my life where I haven't really rooted for England all that much. So the idea of picking just picking seems intriguing to me, but I like this crop of players. I mean, everyone had an issue with the mid-2000s, I want to say, which was like, they were deemed the golden era, Jeremy, but they were kind of all assholes and no one really liked them. That time, I mean, a lot of the country was disconnected from the team. Kevin Nash on Broken Skull Sessions, yeah, that's going to be awesome. That is going to be something. I mean, it depends what mood Kev's in.
He'll be in a good mood, right?
Sometimes he's kind of low energy, right? Like, I love Kev, but sometimes he's a little... Austin will bring it out of him, I think. But there you go.
I think he will, too. Like, Austin's usually good at that. Nash knows he's on, like, Peacock and stuff. Like,
yes.
Nash is all about the check and everything, but I think he won't quite mail this one in. He'll be in, like, prime Diesel mode.
And I get it. You guys are trolls. That's your whole gimmick.
Do you think he's going to, do you think he goes into an event like this thinking, if I play my cards right, I will have a special on the cock? Because I think that's what he's hoping to come out of this with a talk show on the cock.
I feel like he could get that if he wants it. Like, it's like, why couldn't he? I mean, maybe not. It seems like they pitch a lot of stuff for the cock, and nothing really gets through. MassGamer999, appreciate you resubscribing 5 months. God, everybody get your resubscriptions in. Or your current subscriptions. We have 87 subscribers. Let's get up to 100. Let's just do that right now. 100 subscribers. Go. Subscribe. Do it. If you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Give us 100 subscribers. Do it. Now.
Peacock. This is a genuine question, I forget. When, did the cock transfer your network subscription, or did you have to just do it over? You had to just start a new one, right?
I had a Peacock subscription.
Okay. Do we know, from what I remember, the network just ended and they were like, go to Peacock.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it was supposedly, it carried over, but maybe somebody who actually knows, if you were on WWE Network but didn't have a Peacock subscription, did you get transferred over? How did that work? Because, again, I had a Peacock subscription, so, my network subscription just ended, and
I get it.
That
you
was
guys
that.
Are trolls.
There we go. Chocolate Lake giving out the gifted subs. He gifted sub to John Joe Rob, Cody Willis, Cheeseinator, Venus Blue, and Justine. My God, good names on that list. And there's a hype train going. These hype trains scare me. Hype trains very, very much scare me.
I still don't really know what they are, but
I just try to get people hyped during it, like Mojo Rawley.
Yeah.
I just try to give it. There's 44 people just like here. Why? What are y'all doing on a Monday? Do something better with your life.
I mean, that's a broader question about wrestling in general and our absurd fandom that brings us together in these torrid times. But I don't want to get into that here. I was going to Peacock, right? So Peacock. So, this situation with the cock was certainly a bold investment, considering they were not guaranteed to get any of those subscribers, and they just sort of like bought. We now have the wrestling, they said, okay, which is fine.
JJ,
I do think
200 bits. It does seem like apparently Whiskey Dick says he wasn't carried over. Joel Pearl says he wasn't. But you're Canadian. Do you not have? I thought Canada just got the network still, or am I wrong?
I don't know. But
he says he was on U.S. variant. Well, that seems dumb. You should have stayed with Canada there, Joel Pearl. That was your fault.
Disloyal, very disloyal. It feels like they're really going to swing for the fences here in terms of cross promotion with SummerSlam. Do you agree with this? This is my read. That investment was bold, considering it wasn't an actual crossover. You wasn't actually getting a new. You were just like hoping that people were still into the product after they crossed over. Dude, when you arm a conglomerate like this with Cena and Brock potentially, it feels like they could do some mega shit. Would you agree? Do you agree with me on this? I feel like they could make this a mega event. I'm really interested if we just get the standard, like Triple H does a talk show. Are we going to get some real, big time swings? Because it feels like if I'm the cock, I would be thinking, this is our chance to really hit hard and start a new era for the World Wrestling Federation.
They said, and by they I mean Stephanie McMahon, who's never told a lie or never given out cliche answers, that they were gonna work together on these big events where it was, when they have a big event for WWE, they were gonna position that around kind of big events for NBC. Like they announced the SummerSlam location during one of the horse races. I don't know what NBC kind of has coming up. They have the Stanley Cup final going on right now, but nobody's watching. Nobody's watching the Canadians against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know what I have no idea what the viewership is. It's probably not like that great, but they should do some type of the last game's tonight, so I guess they don't really have much time to do any crossover if they haven't done anything. But they have the Stanley Cup final. I don't know what else NBC really they have NASCAR going on. I think football season will be kind of the bigger one, but they definitely should. Peacock should definitely be getting, Cena, Roman. Who else are you gonna put on these tall, Jimmy Fallon? They got to do stuff on Fallon.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
I mean, I'd be fine with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. There you go, Olympics. Are the Olympics on NBC? I really am not. I'm usually not sure what's on what network, honestly.
Dude, imagine the Fiend, Bray Wyatt doing a running on the Olympics.
He'd be banned for drugs.
That's such a layered bit.
Yeah.
That's such a layered line that I truly appreciate.
NFL preseason starts in about 3 weeks. I think for Survivor Series and for Rumble, NFL tie-in can do very well with that stuff. There you go. So Olympics.
You guys are trolls.
My God, Chocolate Taco 5 more, and that brings us up to 100% on the level 3 hype train. So we're gonna get some type of a emoji thing. So Darth Van Vader, Punk Rocklick, Peachy Bows. It's a cool name. I don't know why. Bells 208 and Big Franco 24. If you were in the chat and you got a sub from Chocolate Taco 8, make sure to say thank you. Thank you, buddy. Gifting out the subs. We're at I guess I'll have to update onto how many we're at. What are we at? I'm bad at math. It says 92, but add 5 to that. 97.
97.
Yeah, I think we're at 97 subscribers now. So who's in the chat without a subscription? I'm going to ban you unless you subscribe.
What was JJ's thing here? We missed. He did 100 bits.
Yes,
and
JJ's just always giving out bits. He gave
He had, like,
did he
a
have a message?
Yeah, we missed it.
Oh, okay, sorry, JJ.
It was about Nitro. Yeah. Summer of 96 belongs in the Hall of Fame. Bash of Beach coming up. The next 3 Nitro shows from Disneyland. They're famous set of tapings. Enjoy those. Yeah. They're very, very fun. I think they're one of the most iconic little runs of TV probably ever, right? The Disney ones. Very good stuff.
I'm putting Third Man in a timeout. He's asking for it.
Oh, he's literally asking for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I do this? I haven't done it in a while. Somebody put Third Man in a timeout. Oh wait, I found it.
Okay. Right, now someone asked, what are the eras of the World Wrestling Federation? So I thought this would be a fun game to play.
Real quickly.
Play? Yes.
We'll get to the eras of the WWE. I want to put JJ over because I missed the bits earlier, and I was mentioning my friend. My friend messages me, and he's like, "Who is JJ on Twitter?" He follows me, and he likes all my soccer tweets. And I was like, well, that's the head of our PR department. Like, that's the GOAT right there. That's JJ. And he's like, he seems like a nice guy. I didn't know who he was. I assumed he's following me because of you, but he likes all my soccer tweets and stuff. I was like, you should follow him back and interact with him on soccer. So JJ, if my buddy Sammer has followed you back, if he hasn't, I'll yell at him. He's probably stoned and he probably forgot anyway. But yes, he was putting you over that you seem like a friendly fella and that you like his soccer tweets.
It's just wonderful, isn't it? Jack said a similar. I remember Jack came on the show. I was like, "Man, JJ, he loves the show." I was like, "Yeah, that's our guy."
He's head of PR for a reason.
The eras of the World Wrestling Federation. There seems to be some confusion, Jeremy. Should we set the people straight?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat my Skittles.
So what happened, guys, was after the Ruthless Aggression, when they went into the PG era, they actually, and they never told anyone this, so I understand why there's some confusion, but they reset the cycle officially of the WWF. So then, Cena was our Hogan, which led us towards Dan Bryan and CM Punk as our Shawn and Brett, aka smaller men that we all liked very much that didn't make as much money. However, without TNA becoming the World Championship Wrestling it was supposed to, we never moved past that, so we've just been stuck in the new generation forever without any sign of escape. So unfortunately, if you just today's era is very simple. Imagine 1995 never ended and just extended; it just lasted forever. That's where we live. Okay, that's where we live.
That's about right. I mean, maybe. Yeah. So is AEW gonna push them into a new Attitude Era? Is that what we're thinking? I mean, so. AEW's been around for 2 years now. Doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon.
No, there is. So I put this on Patreon. Okay, the Pal Chalk resubscribed 2 months. Tier 1 says, "Don't ban me, please." There you go. You survived the banning via resubscribing. What else?
He's gifting out subs to everybody else, and then
yes,
he finally subscribed. A very selfless individual there.
Feels like he was saved from the bans after giving out like 10 subs, but I never quite know how these things are going to work. What was he talking about? Oh yeah, I talk about this on Patreon. You know AEW, Jeremy. It's like it isn't really an alternative, is it? And that sounds like a criticism, but I'm not being critical. It's basically just like a WWE that the audience likes. In this column, I will. That's my take, Jeremy. I think that's the thing that we've all missed. We talk about what AEW is and what it isn't. It's like it's basically WWE, but like the audience seems to like it more, and less people watch it. More bits from the JJ. He says, "I feel honoured. Honour is real. Factual to both. Your friends are called Dude and Jack Crosby also follows me. That's a big dub. I love the show from you. We appreciate you, JJ. We do appreciate you very much. Jeremy, am I cooking with this thing? I think this is a real thing. I think what's happened is, rather than recreating WCW and WWE, wrestling is now just back where it was all those many years, where it's one major promotion and then like a lot of alternatives. And WWE has beaten the game to such a degree that it is just no longer in the game. It is like in its own universe. So now AEW is WWE by default, effectively. Because when I think of the alternatives, they have these sort of niche styles, and like AEW does the variety show shit the same way that WWE does. Yes. We just think it's better. Yeah. It has the big production. It has the big arenas. It has the legends. It has the 4 weekly TV shows. Like, and here's the thing. This is not me being critical. I think this is a big part of why people have enjoyed it. Because it isn't trying to be this like niche, we do this one style of wrestling. It's just wrestling. Major League Wrestling. And you could argue, in its own weird way, that was not a pop at Court Bauer, by the way. But you could argue that, like, when WWE changed, and that's fine, let me stress again, I'm not being critical, I'm just commenting on the truth. When their income was less reliant than ever on us two dipshits, like, and the fans for giving them money, it basically left wrestling at that point. Because it left all of wrestling's metrics behind. You know what I mean? Like, it's a mega thing now. It's a big conglomerate. In a weird way, AEW just sort of slotted in as like, that's now the major wrestling promotion, and we have all these sort of alternatives underneath them. I don't know if this is important or interesting, but it did stand out to me when I kind of pondered it. Like, I think we're all looking at it the wrong way, you know? Like, it isn't really... If daylight's between WWE and AEW, daylight is also between AEW and the rest, you know? Like, it isn't the way people pretty frame it, I don't think.
Joseph, you were going too deep for my brain to handle right now. I'm going to be honest with you.
Would you like me to have another roll of the dice, or are you just like to move on?
I'm with you that WWE is like, they've won, right? Like, in terms of wrestling, they've just won. They don't care. I mean, they haven't cared for a while. AEW came along, and they're still doing this stuff, and they'll dangle their carrots and whatnot, but, you know, it ain't I don't think it's going to matter that much. But they haven't tried. They say these in all these interviews. You know, Vince coined it sports entertainment for a long time ago. And they say these in all his interviews. Mask Gamer says WWE is Marvel. They would be Disney and shit. Like, they're trying to create like a universe and do that shit. Yeah. That's fine. Their singular focus is not wrestling anymore. Like, they're doing video games. They're trying to, they got their own studio and shit. Like, their singular focus is just not wrestling. And so when you're at that point, it's just, it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't.
No. So this is the thing. When you say this stuff, people get very mad. And they're like, they've been saying this for years. It's always been called sports entertainment. But actually, if you look at like the numbers, their income is legit like bulletproof from our approval. You know, do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously they need a certain amount of TV viewership to be like what they are. But, like, realistically, they've never needed our money less in terms of, like, traditional wrestling. You know, like, who's going to the house shows? Who bought the pay-per-view? Like, they're bulletproof. So, in a lot of ways, to me, everyone's so desperate to recreate this idea of two major companies. And it's like, really, you just have, like, the WWE universe is over here. You have one major promotion above, and then all these other alternatives, you know, trying to vie to be on the same kind of level as AEW, which is hard because of budget, not because, I mean, some of these companies have good creative. It's just a different thing. You hear it when you hear guys talk, like Ethan Page is a good example, you know? Like, he talks about AEW like he's signed for WWE, right? Like, he's like, this is the biggest thing ever, it's what I've been waiting for, you know? He talks about the idea of what this is. You're going to be in the video game, you're going to get action figures, all this cool stuff that was once associated with signing for WWE. AEW is that now in the wrestling industry again, and this is not me being critical or positive. I'm just saying, like, I think people are missing the boat a little bit when they go, "What is the AEW style?" And I've said the same thing. I've made the same mistake. Like, the style is basically WWE, but like a more sort of optimistic version.
Yeah,
really. And I don't think that's a problem because most of their audience is WWE fans that are like bored of WWE, like me included, probably, right? So. I just think it's interesting. I do. I think everyone's so desperate, me included, for it to be WCW. It's like, the industry's changed, man. You know? It's just a different thing, and that's fine. We have to just adapt.
I told you this when we first started our show, Joseph.
You did.
I'm with you. I still get mad at AEW for not doing more of the sports style stuff, because I felt lied to in their initial press release, telling me they were going to have advanced stats. And they just hadn't. very disappointed in my pal TK, but it really is. They do all the WWE stuff. They do a lot of Attitude Era tropes and whatnot, right? Especially Jericho. Jericho loves that shit. But they do that stuff, and they do it well. I'll give them that. They do it very well.
Yes.
And they keep things fresh. But let's not... Jack Crosby said this a while ago. Like, let's not act like it's sports. It's like sports-based presentation. Because it's not. I haven't been. No. And that's fine. I like this theory. I can get behind this theory that AEW is now WWE, and now we need a new WCW once again. We still lack an actual WCW.
Yes, and we are all. And here's the thing: the Power Andrew mentioned NXT. Do we just like divorce NXT from the World Wrestling Federation and make that our new like alternative second territory? Is that what we do here?
NXT is just Impact. NXT is just Impact.
Yeah. Then what's Impact though? GC Dub? CC Dub?
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta talk about Impact, okay? Listen,
Why?
I don't watch their TV. I ain't trying to hate. But like, you gotta sort this shit out, man. You can't be doing Sami Callihan. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for Sami. Why does it look like there's like a smoke alarm going off in my room? It's all misty above me. I'm very alarmed, but every time I look at the camera, I'm scared. Look, man, Sami Callihan's you got to sort yourself out. You got Kenny Omega in the territory, you know. You gotta lock in. Yeah, Hitman Punk, you're right. The NXT thing doesn't work, but like, should we do it just for the sake of conversation? Should we just make NXT its own promotion for our own brains?
Yes.
Josh Alexander, Chris Bay, who else? Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, I guess. I don't know if I'm allowed to say him. Someone not called Sami Callihan. But anyway, Reese said, which out of the other promotions could be a WCW stuff? None of them.
No.
They're all a mile away, you know? Impact is just... The thing with Impact is, it's one of those shows that as a wrestling fan, like I appreciate when I watch it, and I like a lot of stuff they do. But it very much has that vibe of like, if you watch that shit with anyone even somewhat normal that doesn't love wrestling, they will list you and like give your name to the police. You know that, right? You know, like, because this is the thing about wrestling is, and we have to keep like, if you watch AEW with a normal person, they're gonna not talk to you ever again, but they will not give your name to the police. The rest of these promotions, you're getting arrested that night. You know, you're getting taken in for questioning, and that's not ideal. So that's something I have to keep in mind when they book these shows. Are the audience in danger of being arrested by their friends? Which of the other promotions is the least likely to get you just thrown out of every WhatsApp group chat you're in? Because I know that Ring of Honor fans would say them because they're like a serious promotion, but in some ways I think that's worse because it's like extra dorky, you know? Pure. You know, like, that's definitely not cool, is it? In its own way.
They should have a farm fight on television this week. Like,
I need to watch that. I actually need to watch it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that episode had Fred Yehi, John Gresham, and a farm fight. Like, I can watch this. I need to get back into the Ring of Honor. I do enjoy Ring of Honor.
Good luck.
I'm going to watch all of this shit for a week when crowds are about and then stop, obviously. Do you think Rampage will have a different feel to like Dynamite? Yes. He won't tell us what Mark Henry is doing on that show, which means he has some sort of a dastardly plan.
Oh, they're just commentating.
No. He was like, analyst. And afterwards, someone in the press was like, so he's commentating, right? He's like, analyst. So he might be doing like an inside the NBA thing, I think. It might be like a panel deal, you know?
Oh,
that's why I genuinely think it may be. And like, because in my mind, Mark would be great at that and terrible at commentary. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, I see him as Charles Barkley. In my head, I see him as Charles. So I think it could be something different. It could also just be an hour of very standard professional wrestling. So, hard to say.
I like that idea of doing something like that inside the NBA style. for that show. But then, all right, so it's only an hour-long show anyway. How much time are you filling up with that? Like 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, I didn't really think it through much.
Reese Hayes is a good question. Who else are you putting on that panel with Henry?
Ernie, Shaq, and Kenny, obviously.
All right, let's so Mark Henry is Charles Barkley. I think you've got who's Ernie? Like, who's actually professional enough to be like Ernie?
Wrestling has never had anyone as good as Ernie.
No.
Anything, any of their jobs, they've never had. I think, like, Paul White is Shaq, right? Like, you could see him and Mark bickering and having fun.
Yeah.
You know, and he's also 7 foot tall, which helps.
I think Jericho. I feel like Jericho's going to be on this show.
Listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you.
But he ain't Kenny the Jet.
No, Jericho is not annoying enough to be Kenny, and that's saying something. Kenny is like, Vicky Guerrero is the only person I can come up with that would annoy me as much as Kenny.
Oh, man.
I feel like because you know what annoys me about Kenny? There's this weird fake, like, he actually knows what he's talking about shit with him that the other two don't have. Because we all know the other two clowns, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's their gig. But with Kenny, it's like, now we'll get to the real analysis. Go up to the big screen, Kenny, and they're like, man, good shit. It's like, buffoon. Complete buffoon.
I like fake analysis role, because you're right, like that's what Kenny Smith does. Like, all right, go up here, and then he's like, look how open he is, you just pass him the ball, circle him, like he takes a shot, this is good offense right here, everybody. It's like, yeah, Giannis drove and kicked it out, great offense. Like that's what he does.
It's one of my favorite things in sports analysis is when, like, the job is just like, this is the player we're going to talk about, so let's just find his good highlights and we'll just say what happened in them. Right? Here you go, he gets the basket, he puts it, like, here you go, goes off glass on that. Like, it's just, what is the, what are we learning here? You're just telling us this guy's playing well. Like, yes, I know that. It's sports, I think the analysis on TV, and frankly, I wish I consumed more that's, like, really inside baseball online, like people that really dig in. Because I find a lot of it on TV to be terrible. I really do. Now, I hear that the pal, what's the football guy that everyone likes? Tony Romo?
Yeah.
Everyone says, like, he's actually good. In basketball, dude, who's actually good in basketball? Seriously. Whose opinion do you value more than just, like, random deep dive podcast guy?
Oh,
seriously.
Especially former player.
Holy shit, dude. Renee Ernie is perfect.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, that is very good. Yes, that would be good. Yeah, Taz is Kenny. Kind of makes sense because he does that gimmick anyway of,
yes, he's a lot better at it than Kenny is.
Former player that does. Dude, all the NBA guys suck. I was listening to Reggie Miller the other night,
fuck.
And him not realizing, like, dude, it's not even like their analysis sucks. Like, some of them I feel like don't even know, like, the rules and, like, what's actually happening in the game in front of them. Reggie is legit.
So
Reggie is talking, and he's like, that's a good foul. It's side out right there. And he says side out like 3 times. Like, Reggie, there ain't no bonus. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's shooting free throws. And then Reggie's like, don't understand why he's in the line. And Mark's like, well, they're in the bonus. Like, oh, man, okay. Like, it's right in front of you.
Yes. Okay, who's better? I know that he's quit now, so he doesn't do it anymore, but Weber or Reggie?
Weber sucked, too.
He did.
I can tolerate Weber, like, a minuscule more than Reggie. Reggie's just awful.
I agree. I think it's because I just like him more as, like, a human. Like, Reggie actively annoys me, like, in general. Like, when he's doing anything, it's like, please, dude, when they do, like, dunk contest, and he's just intolerable, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just no fun. Like, he's an iconic basketball player, and if I was at the same place, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go home, guys. I don't want to talk to Reggie. And that's where it's at with me and him. Actually, I'm not going to say poor Marv, because, no, but he sucked. Very big Jim Ross vibes with the way his game aged. Like, big Jim.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he would do Sixers games, and, like, TJ McConnell and JJ Redick were just one person. Like, he would just decide what name he was doing, and both of them would be that. Like, this is good. Reggie is actively bad. Weber is passively bad.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. So anyway, Taz. So we've got Renee, Tall Paul, Taz, and Mark Henry. Tell me that show wouldn't rule, bro. That would rule, wouldn't it? That'd be great. That'd be tremendous.
I think Renee's going to Turner to do hockey coverage too, so she could easily just slot in on Rampage.
Fair, right? Like, do you remember when she left WWE and some of us had the nerve, the gall, not just do what you did? I know you got in a lot of trouble, but some of us were like, man, it'd be cool if she went here in wrestling, but like, she'll never do anything in wrestling again, you fucking idiots. She left wrestling now to be on ESPN. So maybe she likes wrestling. Maybe she's going to go and do something for the AEW territory. I'm sure those conversations will be forgotten by the time that she does something in the AEW territory.
I'm going to retweet my post that got me in so much trouble.
Dude, I swear to God, you've been off Twitter. Chelsea Green had like the most innocuous comment ever, and it got like 200 quote tweets. I mean, it was your story. It might not have been. I apologise, but
probably not.
It was like the quote. The headline was like, "I was main eventing an Impact, and I couldn't get on WWE TV. What the hell?" And a lot of people were like, "This is like saying I was an all-star in the G League and I can't play in the NBA." And it's like, do you guys watch Raw and SmackDown? Like, in what world are we still doing this major league shit? Guys, Jackson Riker is, I believe, like a top 5 babyface on Raw. It's no major league. It's just the one most people watch. It isn't the major leagues. Please stop pretending it's the major leagues.
It's not real sports
yes,
either.
It's like the worst analogy, and people think it's brilliant. And I sit there and read it, and I'm like, you're dunking on Impact without realising they run Bob and Drew as their main event 5 years ago. Like, it's wrestling. Like, wrestling leagues are not sports leagues. They're more like film companies and record labels than they are sports leagues. Like, if you actually looked at the best professional wrestlers in the world, there are very few of them that feature prominently on WWE TV. That's not because they don't send them signed. It's just the truth. Like, there are guys, I'm not going to name them because I actually like some of these guys, that are just good at playing characters. And girls, right? They're just good at playing characters and they get on WWE TV. That doesn't make them the major leagues. They're just like, they're a good fit there. It's annoying. It frustrates the shit out of me, bro. You know?
It's very weird. Anybody who compares that stuff, I mean, we do it tongue-in-cheek of wishing it'd be more real sports with certain aspects, but yes, to be like, oh, you couldn't, because Michael Cole would do that shit, right? When, like, Nakamura was challenging for the title, or JBL, big into that, like, oh, that shit doesn't matter, Michael. Like, this is the WWE. This is, where you got to really prove yourself. Who cares if you won all these matches in Japan and elsewhere? Like, this is a whole different territory. And it's like, yeah, but, like, it's fake. Like, they can book whoever they want to win these matches and put them on TV. It's not because, they're out of the league because they suck anymore and they're just done, or they somehow get better and they've improved, and so they're Campaign or Reggie Jackson, like, just book whoever they want in these spots.
Yeah, and it's there are people that are featured regularly on WWE. I'm not a big Chelsea Green, I think she's fine, but like she's very versatile, and like there are people on WWE TV regularly that she's like, I think, pretty objectively better than at wrestling. So, what are we doing at that point? Also, the other thing, Andrew mentioned Kenta. Seriously, I gotta be serious about this for a minute. I don't care how many injuries a pro wrestler gets. Please do not go on Twitter and use that shit like it's just a talking point for you to like win. Because like, for an athlete, injuries are hell. And even if that's the reason they didn't get pushed, try not to like loudly, arrogantly be like, LOL, every time you was on TV you got hurt, bro. Because people do that shit with Kenta, and I will fight them now. That shit's got to stop, man. Because injuries suck so much, and when they happen, no one does those posts, but yet in hindsight, everyone gets all loud about it, and will be like, every time they try to do something, you got hurt, bro. It's not their fault, it's your health's fault. You're made of glass, or whatever they have. Like, don't do that shit, man. It's bad luck. Don't do it. I don't agree with that at all. If you want to do the major league sports stuff, then do that at your own peril. But if you want to do it, then also treat injuries like they're athletes, because they are. Like, that shit's fucked. I don't like when people use injuries as talking points. Like, it's dumb.
It's another dumb talking point in wrestling because, okay, you got injured, but that doesn't prevent you from like not booking him on the way back. Like the Finn Balor stuff is an easy example of like, okay, he got injured. He's been pretty healthy since that injury, right? Like they couldn't have continued to just book him as a top guy, but instead it's like, oh well, they gave him the one chance and he got injured from it, and so can't get another chance. It's like, huh?
A good example of that, a really big time victim of that is Dolph, who got branded injury prone because he got one concussion and legit has not missed any time since, as far as I know. Like, he never gets injured. And people will still, if you say, like, Dolph deserved better, they'll be like, injuries, man. It's like, he got one and they just give up. Dude, I'm a big Randy Orton guy. He, like, regularly, when he was on top, would just, like, get hurt. Just, like, disappear for 6 months. Like, if they want to push you, they push you.
Yeah.
If they don't, they use an injury as they're out. That's it. Now, look. Jeremy and I have done it before, and we will do it again. Sometimes injuries mess career runs up.
Yeah.
And as people that cover wrestling, we're allowed and more than entitled to say much about the Revival, for example. It's like, man, they were red hot, they got hurt, and that was a bummer, and it slowed them. They could have done more, but still, it did feel like circumstance prevented that initial burst. And it's like, I think there's a difference between us commenting on that, or I'll say Ember Moon, I love Ember Moon, but like, We've used that as an example with her. Like, she just got hurt at the wrong time. It sucks. But there's a very big difference between doing that and then being like, LOL, you was getting hurt every time. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Not you guys. I know the pin chat don't do this shit. But like, I see this stuff from people that are very level-headed. Why are you like using injuries as?
Again, it's a fake sport. You can book who you want on top. Like you can still give people runs on top even if they've gotten injured, and it doesn't, like, it's fine. It's not like a real sport where, all right, a guy blows out his Achilles. Is he the same player? Okay, he's lost a step. He's just not as good anymore. And some people come back even better. Dude, imagine if just like Kevin Durant blew out his Achilles. You know what? Let's just play him like 15 minutes a game. Let's just not play this guy all that much. He's injury prone. Can't risk another injury with this guy. Mm-hmm. So we're just gonna bring him as like the 8th man off the bench, give him his 15 minutes, and that's just where he's gonna be the rest of his career. That's what we're gonna do with Kevin Durant.
Here's the thing: sports fans, and obviously there are exceptions. And when a great player goes down, sometimes the away crowd will cheer and all that shit. But like, it does to me anyway feel like sports fans have a better read on like. Who's a guy that's had his career ruined by injuries? Isaiah Thomas, good one, right? Yeah. Like, he lost so much. Look, maybe I'm wrong, Jeremy. It feels like the general dialogue on him is like, that's a bummer, right? I don't feel like people are going LOL, generally. I know they do it, it's NBA Twitter. But like, generally, I think sports fans look at injuries with a certain level of like, a certain level of respect, standoffishness. I don't think everything needs to be a talking point. I know that some NBA fans are vicious. I get that, but anyway, that's enough on that. Yes, The Miz is still on television, I hear, which is very good. It all depends on their, like, there are some guys that will make one public error and it'll be like, that'll be used over them for a decade. And again, I'll use him because I love him. Randy Orton has made so many missteps and he always gets the ball back in his hands. Always.
Hello. Fightful Faithful.
So, Sean DPS.
Yeah, Sean DPS. Thanks for following. Appreciate it, man.
Got fired up there, Jeremy.
Do what?
Got fired up there, pal. I don't know why I did that.
Because us wrestling companies can be dumb with this injury stuff.
Yeah. Like, I think Kent is my...
Yeah, I think it is too. You got a lot of love for the Kenta.
The thing with Kenta is, I think he's a symbol of something in the dialogue that's really interesting. And I would never tackle it in an article because I think it's disrespectful to him to talk about what people say about him. But it's like, I do think he's a pretty good... This is going to sound like gatekeeper shit, but it's true. I think the way someone views Kenta is a pretty good read on like their general perspective on wrestling. Because if they tell me he's like a flop, I'm like, alright, cool, bro. Cool, whatever. Like, I just roll my eyes. I ain't gonna argue about it. I'm just like, but sometimes people they get really aggressive about the Kenta. And like he said some stuff about WWE, but it's not like he goes crazy about it, right? Like, he doesn't talk about it all the time. It's a weird one, Jeremy. People are very odd. But anyway, moving on. The Britt Baker was very good when she was like one of her kind of best runs of promos when she was injured, and she came back just way better physically too. Not that it's helped now because I don't know what Britt Baker's doing now. It sucks.
You heard about Nyla Rose, Joseph? That's who she's feuding with over hamburgers, I believe.
I do like Nyla Rose, and I'm upset that we have to like bury the shit she's in because it sucks. Like it's not ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. Pure basketball questions. The conversation about Luka and Trey need to be revisited based on the Hawks. I mean, I think everyone was way quick on the trigger with that shit. Like Trey's a bad man. He's been dangerous since he came. Like, look, if you ask me today, who would I rather start a franchise with? I'll still take Luka.
Yeah.
But like the way that people made out like Trey was some bum was always really weird. Like, yes, he has major issues, doesn't play great defense. Guess what? Not as Luka. Right? I always thought it was weird. I mean, in the modern NBA, like players like Trey Young are the gold dust, right? Like, I mean, the guy can come up and shoot the ball from half court. He's incredible. He's still so young too. I always thought that was silly. What about you?
I mean, I think the real conversation here is that DeAndre Ayton's in the finals, and these other two dorks have not. All right, Trey got to the conference finals. Luka is not even out of the first round. I think the DeAndre Ayton slander is the real miss. Who the fuck is calling me? Let's see who this is, Joseph.
Okay.
Hello? Good, how are you?
It's Mark Carano.
Oh, how are you?
Jeremy's a very polite phone talker. Oh my God.
Yep, everything's good. I did make a purchase. I'm back in Ohio.
Oh my God.
No.
It's not Mark Carano. Are you right, Chop? Trey does suck defensively, I'm just saying. People make a big deal out when they want to. It's a weird thing.
I appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. Bye.
Oh my God. Wasn't a lot of comedic value in that, Jeremy.
So
it was just a very straightforward.
It was a very straightforward call. So here's what it was for the people that care. I bought a car over the weekend, and I went to a couple different places. And the first place I went to, that was the guy. He called me back, and this is on Saturday. He said he was going to call me back Saturday afternoon, and he never called me back. And so I bought the car from somewhere else. And so he was calling to check back in. I was like, yeah, dude, I bought something, and I'm back in Ohio, so I don't know what you want to tell me. You called back. You said you were going to call back Saturday afternoon. It's now Monday evening. You missed out on that sale, man.
Very fair. Very fair. I thought it was Mark Carano.
No. He doesn't call that line. I have a different line for him.
This Trey thing is interesting.
So, okay, I'll be serious about Trey. I do think people were very foolish to jump the gun on, like, oh, man, the Hawks fucked that up. Like, they shouldn't have done that. Because, like you said, dude, Trey was good in college. He was excellent in college. He kind of slowed down at the end of the college season, but, like, for that first part, like, he was great, and then he gassed out having to carry that team. But dude, you could tell he was going to be special, though. Like, anybody that can just shoot from that range, like, you just like kind of got a spot. And he could not only do that, but he could do plenty more. Like, yeah, is Luka better? Sure. Did like the Hawks completely like they didn't? Maybe they lost the trade. I don't know if you have to pick like a winner, but they did well to get Trey Young, right? Like, they did really well to get Trey Young. And for anybody writing him off and just being like, oh yeah, the Hawks screwed that up, Trey's a bum, like, I don't know where those takes could come from.
He's a guy that's probably consistently going to score 30 a game.
Yeah.
He's going to get 8-9 assists. Like, it's, this is not a case of some scrub. I think some people just love the narrative so much they just wanted to get a new one in. Like, LOL the Hawks. Like, they're doing okay. Obviously this year, like, weird shit happened and they met like a bunch of fucking losers in the second round. But they're still they beat the Knicks with ease, which I not that it surprised me, But like the Knicks were a rough, tough team, so I didn't expect them to just sort of in the end they blew over them. So there you go.
Yeah, that was a big, like I said, like not total surprise because the Knicks they were so defensive reliant that if you could and as we've seen like in the playoffs you can kind of penetrate that stuff a little bit easier when you can exploit matchups and game plan and whatnot. And I don't even think they like fully penetrated like that Knicks defense, just the Knicks offense just went to complete shit. Like Julius Randle just sucked in the playoffs. But the way they like handled them was very surprising. The Sixers, I mean, all right, they're great big fucking losers, but like the way they played against the Sixers was still pretty surprising. And then like even the Bucks, like I mean that series was at 2-2. You know, if Trey,
yes,
I mean like Giannis, Trey gets hurt, but like that was 2-2 when both those guys get injured because they both missed Game 5. Trey tried to play Game 6, but I don't think he was right. But like they were right there in that series, so I feel like the Hawks might be sort of. I think this might be a thing of like now the expectations for next season are going to be probably too great for them because they're a good team. I definitely don't think they were like conference finals good this season. And now like if they don't make the conference finals next year, people are just like, oh Trey, see, like
it's hard because the form book when Nate McMillan came in, they was like if you just look at that number of games. They were like the best team in the East. Basically, like the run they went on was outrageous. But I kind of agree with your line of thinking that doesn't mean that's what they'll be all of next season. It feels like they're going to come down to earth a little bit. But the beauty of Trey is how young he is, right? Like it's, they have to pay Collins now. Yeah, that's... I don't know about John Collins, man. I don't know about how much money you're going to have to pay him. I think there's a lot to like, but like I don't know if I want to be locked into the amount of money you're probably going to have to... But you have to, right? It's the way it goes. Look, let's be honest. They're going to pay him, aren't they? It's the way it goes.
I think they're going to
We have these conversations, and then everyone gets the big extensions. Like, it just is the way it is.
Yeah. He's restricted, too, isn't he? So, yeah. They're going to keep him, whether they pay him or whether they match an offer sheet. Like... I think they're gonna keep John Collins, and like, do you want to give John Collins that much money? Maybe not, but like, it ain't my money, so whatever. Let him pay John Collins.
Yeah. Now, changing the subject because basketball sucks and the Sixers are fucking losers. As you know, Jeremy, I do not collect action figures. I wish I did, but I don't. I instead simply enter toy stores and purvey which figures are around as a journalist to figure out who is over and who is not. Luther, I don't know if you're watching this, but turn off the video now. Chris Jericho, man, is struggling. There's like 25 Chris Jerichos. It's getting very sad. Everyone else, there's only 2 of them, Jeremy. The AEW section, very slim. Chris Jericho. He's all over the store. People have picked him up and put him down everywhere, Jeremy. I've never seen anything like it. So this is a message to anyone in the Romford area of the United Kingdom. Chris Jericho, man, he's out there. He's like £15, maybe a little expensive. I'm sure it'll go down if you wait another couple of weeks. Can't sell a figure. Chris, it may be time to either release another book or retire, my friend. God bless. By the way, did you see that he gave his match with John Moxley 5 stars?
Sure.
Did you see this?
No.
He got someone tweeted, he was like, what did you give the Moxley match? He goes, 5 stars, loved everything about it. I was like, this book fucking rules. This book, I need to get this book. Dude.
I heard him I listened to him on Observer Radio, and he was talking to Dave about the star ratings and stuff and like the difference because like obviously Jericho's in there and basically like his reasoning is just like if I get to the back and I feel like we could not have had a better match, then it's a 5-star match to me. So like that's just his line of thinking. Like if he just gets to the back and he's like that is the absolute best match we could have done, he's like 5 stars.
He's gonna have like 15 Kane matches at 5 stars. There's a guy, by the way. We had that conversation about the Dudley Boys. What is the best Kane match?
Non-gimmicked or
gimmicked, non-gimmicked?
Just the best Kane match.
What is it? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I just don't know. I saw this with my brother and I never researched it. So
let's see. Let's see what the cage match. Let's see what Dave's highest rating is.
Yes. Very good. My God, the WrestleMania 17 triple threat. If that's actually it, that rules. I mean, it's a fun match, but he had like a 20-year career.
I mean, so Survivor Series elimination. Like, are we counting that?
Is that the 2001 match?
Yeah, 2001.
I watched that this weekend. That match is like, it's like the Rock and Austin part is really what we need to watch. The rest of that match is very lackluster, and I didn't recall it being that way at all. It's just the Rock and Austin part, really. The rest of it's like, I don't know, it didn't hit for me at all.
The Money in the Bank ladder match at 21.
This rules.
Like, you're not crediting Kane for this.
Okay, what's his highest rated match that has less than like 6 people in it? Oh, sorry to hear that.
This one has...
This is a good game, bro. Just like legendary.
All right, here we go. 4. It's a 4-way match.
Okay.
Del Rio, Edge, Kane, and Rey Mysterio from Tables, Ladders, Chairs. 2010. That got 4 1/4.
Okay.
Oh, dude, there are so many 4 1/4s.
Oh shit!
Hold
okay.
on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 4 1/4 matches.
Are they all multi-mans?
Yeah, all multi-mans. The first like non-multi-man is there an easier way? Oh, here we go. A 3.5 star match against at WWE Bad Blood 2004. You can look up who he faced.
Oh. Okay. Brought the gimmick to a screeching halt.
Yeah. That's his highest rated singles match. And here's Daniel. This was also 3.5 stars. Daniel Bryan against Kane from Extreme Rules.
Dude, like Gallows really was Kane, because he's another guy like Kane. The wrestlers talk about him like he's like amazing because he's just so safe.
Yeah.
And soft. But like it doesn't translate to good matches ever. I mean, Gallows is probably, I don't know this, but his 6-mans over the last 6 months are probably like better than a lot of Kane's shit. But they're also relying on other people. It always fascinates me, the guys that the wrestlers admire, that like I just don't remember any of their matches. Because you know this, Drew. You listen to the interviews and stuff. Like, wrestlers think the world of Kane.
Oh, they love him.
They not just as a human, like they think he's a great pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And like, who am I to say he's not? I'm just a mere fan pointing out he hasn't had many good matches. Like, is that a thing in music? Is there a rapper that like we'll agree objectively sucks, has no good projects, for like, man, this guy? Who is that? Does that exist? I feel like that's not a thing.
I feel like anybody who's got like any type of reputation at least has like a good project, right? People are saying Big Sean. People are saying Drake. Look, man.
Listen, I ain't a Drake guy, but he ain't Kane. He's not Kane.
Big Sean isn't like, I'm not like the biggest Big Sean fan.
Pitbull that's some shit right there. Pitbull, mate, because all of the big guys kind of fuck with Pitbull, right? He's awful.
He is awful, but like the dude churns out like hits and catchy fucking songs.
He kind of looks like Kane too. Chance the Rapper, he had something. He fucked it, but he's not. I don't know. I don't know if Pit was restricted. I don't have many.
Flow Rider. Like that's another guy who just like, that man made some hits and some catchy shit, and people seem to like him. But like, as far as like actual good songs, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a fascinating one because like French Montana's a good one because all of the artists love him because he's just like he doesn't seem to give a shit. So he like a lot of feature on his terrible music.
What about 2 Chainz? Like I'm not like, what's like a good 2 Chainz song that's just like not a feature?
I'm not really educated enough to have this conversation because most of these names I couldn't tell you what I like of theirs, so it's difficult. I will say Flow Rider is fascinating because he has like major singles, and if you look at his album sales, no one ever has bought a Flow Rider album. Like, it just is not a thing people do. They replay a single
Yeah.
101 times on Apple Music or whatever, or Spotify, but they are not buying an album, which is tremendous.
Did Flow Rider ever have like an actual like #1 album?
I don't know. He had many a WrestleMania theme song, which is more important in some ways.
He had to have like an actual #1 album.
How many WWE pay-per-views did Flow Rider provide the music for? Genuinely, at least 5, right?
Yeah.
At least.
Dude, he never got a #1 album. Like his highest was #4. That was the first album.
The thing about him, and this is where it gets really weird. You have to start analyzing like whether he's a real person or a cyborg built to just like invade our ears. Because like no one ever likes his part of the songs either. Like he gets like a female vocalist for the hook, and people like the hook. So you know, I just
Dude, no #1 albums, but he had 1, 2, 3. I really expected more. I thought like all these shits went #1, but he had 3 like #1 singles.
What are they?
The 3 #1 singles were "Low," "Right Round," and "Whistle." Were the 3 #1 singles.
Wait, Greenlight wasn't a #1 single?
Nah, Whistle sucked too, man.
Greenlight should have. That was a like Twitter bit for a long time. The Greenlight bit.
Our House too, man. My house. Welcome to my house.
Those were definitely Mania themes.
Yeah,
they were 100%.
My house peaked at #4. Where's Greenlight at? I don't know.
He had another.
Oh, Greenlight was 95. That thing like barely charted.
Wow, it shows you how big the wrestling bubble is. I heard that fucking thing every week. Every single week they'd show the Mania logo and play that thing. Anyway, that's enough about Flow Rider.
Let's talk more about Flow Rider.
Listen, I'm not even doing a bit here. You know some guys like guilty pleasures? No, like not Flow Rider.
Dude, I'll listen to some of these singles, man. Again, that's some catchy ass shit, dude. Like, love that. That's a good Chris Rock bit. He's like, that's some catchy ass shit.
I mean, I guess it is. Look, I'm probably being too like, miserable about this. They're fun tracks, right?
Dude, in the air. Oh hot damn! This is sing it, Joseph.
No,
this is my jam.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're doing.
Keep the party and going to the AM.
This is what you were singing on the way home.
Let me throw my hands in the air.
What year was that? Tell me, because this always pops me. Like when I try and figure out songs when I was a young man, when I was a youth at
so
school.
long ago too.
It's probably a decade, right?
It was, 2008.
Fuck.
Came out.
I was like 11. Holy shit.
Yeah, that shit came out so long ago.
So who's better, Flow Rider or Kane?
Flow Rider, because I can at least remember some of his shit. I can't remember any of Kane's matches.
It's true, bro. You mentioned them matches, like them Hopstar matches. I was like, I have no idea when these matches.
And I get it. You guys are trolls. That's your whole gimmick.
Well.
Anna Karana, appreciate you. It says allegedly 4 months of this. My God, what a time in history it is. I don't know why. Don't know. Yeah, Reese Hayes says it. Kane ain't got any club bangers. You kidding me? You ain't throwing on Kane versus Undertaker at the club.
I mean, I feel like the theme he has with the vocal, I feel like it may not be a club banger, but
that's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic wrestling theme, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Have you seen Rich Swann play that?
No.
On one of Page's vlogs, Rich Swann is like got a guitar and he's just like singing it slowly, like. Dude, Ethan's vlogs rule so much. They're very, very good. I'm glad that people like watching them now that he's in a promotion people watch. It's good.
We're gonna be on the vlog in St. Louis, right?
We are. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jeremy. We're friends. Last Thursday was the last time we did anything on here, and we did this bit where someone was like, "What if you get Bob to do an interview with Ty Conti?" My brain has not gone 15 minutes since without thinking about that. Like, because anytime I see Ty Conti on like social, I'm like, I think she would try and make this work. Someone messaged me. I can't think it was Tope Suicide. It was one of the Good Brothers. Was like, dude, Ty would find this funny, or she tried to make it funny. So now I'm stuck between like a rock and a hard place. Where it's like, are we stopping ourselves from forcing magic to happen here? Like, is Bob the issue? It feels like if Bob's the issue, we should go ahead with it, you know?
Bob is always the issue.
Yeah, he is. The thing is, I don't want to put Bob in a position where he gets, where he feels like an idiot. Not in person, right? Not in person. But, like, comedy is comedy. And sometimes you have to do these things for the sake of history.
She's contracted. It's tough to get the interviews with contracted people. It depends on like what like the setup is, because I don't know if they're doing like StarCast for that one or what they're doing. Like I don't know if they're gonna do their own little gimmick like they did at Double or Nothing. But even that one, like you couldn't just go around, because like when I went to StarCast, you could just go around and talk to whoever you wanted that was like signing, as long as they were up on the little main stage tables, which I assume Tai Conti would be. But at the Double or Nothing thing, it doesn't seem like it was just a fan fest thing. There was no like media type interviews for that. So I have no idea how it would work. And because she's contracted, it would be difficult as well. And because like if we're just like, we don't like an actual interview, I don't know, we're just kind of like doing a bit here. Like I don't know how well that would go over either.
I think if we showed Tony the tweets, he'd be like, this needs to happen. He might put it on TV.
That's true, actually. Tony might, if we just talk to Tony directly, we might be able to make this happen.
It would be very simple to be like, hey Tony, here's the deal. See this guy here with the hat? He once asked Ty Conti on Twitter to throw him off a bridge. We'd like to do an interview. Tony would be like, good idea, let's do that. That would be it, we'd do the interview. You know, some things feel like they should happen. Increasingly, this one feels like it should happen, but whatever, man. You know, I don't want to kill the business.
Why have I not been contacted about going to the zoo in St. Louis? What are we doing?
Well, there's a lot of, there's some characters on this trip.
Nobody contacts me for this stuff. Again, you get all the DMs. Did they just book? They just book you, or they book me through you, like I do with your media appearances?
No, they just booked me.
Yeah, they just don't care about me. That's fair.
Yeah, I think like they in their minds we're like a fight squad. We're like Diamond Mine. Like so, we're all gonna roll together in St. Louis with like Fightful tracksuits on. So he like confirmed. She goes to me. He's like, "Are you sitting with the Fightful guys, or are you free? To sit wherever?" So I think I can sit wherever in the arena. I don't think Sean will find me. I don't think I'm expected to just sit alongside the guys,
Who got the top row for All Out? O'Neal?
O'Neal bought them. Confirmed Shoot was the one that, was the architect for all this. I had to pay Bob real money in real life.
But that was for St. Louis, right? Did O'Neal do top row for All Out?
I don't think so.
Are All Out tickets even on sale yet?
Is Bob going to All Out?
I thought so. I gotta get tickets for All Out.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah.
That was for not Full Gear. That's for Rampage. The one I'm talking about. Top right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think All Out tickets have gone on sale. I haven't seen any of my friends tweet about it. I'll message Hannah, and she keeps up with that shit, and somehow just always gets tickets for stuff.
Yeah. Very fair. 2K on the stretch should be a moment in history. I think, look, if we're being honest, it will never happen, but Tony would definitely have fun on that show.
Oh, yeah.
It's just wrestling talk. He loves that shit.
Dude, we'd throw him some fantasy booking ideas and stuff, and he'd go crazy over this.
Just 3 hours on WCW.
Yeah.
Just 3. How would we save it, Tony? Tony gets out on notepad. Well, in my last go of it.
we should do what was the gimmick they used to run? Where they like rebook the territory and stuff. Sean Oliver would do all this shit.
Guest booker.
Yeah. We should do that with Tony.
Yeah. Is that stuff gone now? Does he not make those anymore?
I think so, yeah.
They were good things, like they're good stuff. I think the Timeline series was Sean Oliver's best.
The Timeline stuff was good.
They were great, yeah.
Yeah, some of the U-Shoot stuff, you'd get like some good answers and whatnot. Like, it was just something different, It wasn't just like a straightforward interview type stuff.
the fantasy booking stuff will always come down to how much the person doing it throws themselves into it.
Right.
Like, it's very simple. So I've seen some of those guest bookers where guys, really, I mean, they come into it with such preparation, they make fools of themselves. Not naming anyone in particular that may have a podcast now in which he talks about what wrestling should be, and once booked the worst fucking invasion angle I've ever seen in my life on DVD. Not anyone in particular. But other guys would just not do anything. So it would be, be brutal. Yes, I'm Cracker Joe. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, that was that was some shit, man. That was when you knew, like, oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash timelines, yeah, they're great. In fairness, the dipshit we were just talking about, the timelines he did were good, or the one he did. He did one for WCW too. Some of them are terrible because guys don't remember anything. Like, there's one with Vader where he's just like Sean Oliver can go. He can be like. And then, Sting beat Barry Windham, and Vader will go, I tried to have a tag team run with Steve Austin. And Sean will be like, that's cool. And then Too Cold Scorpio beat Marcus Alexander Bagwell, and Vader will go, I tried to have a tag team run with Steve Austin. Like, these poor old guys, they just hit the same notes. They don't remember anything. God rest his soul, man. It wasn't a great watch. Yes, Terry Funk and Taker. Tough. 2001, that would have been. No, 2002, that would have been. I mean, I'm all in on Terry Funk doing anything, but I don't know if I'd have him with The Undertaker in one of the biggest angles in wrestling history. It's just me. I'm built different. Here we go. Listen, we're an hour and 16 in. Let's wrap this up. Not wrap it up in terms of, end. I mean, let's do the topic that went in the video, because it will take a long time. Jeremy. How would you have booked the invasion angle? Do you have a prepared answer for this? Do you have a theory that you immediately go to? Or do you not know?
Yeah, I would have, not had all the top names sit at home for a year so I could actually use them. Like, that's what sort of... I didn't kill it because you still could have done something. But, when they couldn't get those guys and it's like, oh, here's Booker T and DDP, it's like, It's tough to be excited, right? It's tough to be excited about that stuff.
So, that's obviously the first thing, talent. The other thing is, how do you get around Vince's desperation to be the babyface? Because that feels like another issue that we run into here, right?
Yeah.
Because Vince, he wants to be the babyface, and in fairness,
I think he had to be the babyface because the audience was gonna cheer them anyway. So
then you're in a problem, okay, what talents are you targeting? What's your main ones? To me, the obvious ones are you needed Goldberg. Yeah. I don't care what anyone said. You just needed him to do Austin. You needed that stuff. If I could get Stang, Goldberg, and I know he was washed, but Steiner just for the banter, just because he's so outrageous, The NWO guys, I don't know, man. Because the thing with the NWO guys is what storyline-wise, they almost seem to make most sense in the middle of both sides, don't they? Because WCW fans wouldn't be yeah, Hogan, it's, I don't know, it's difficult.
I could take out the NWO guys and just essentially do what they did with them when they came in, except, some, just make that better. I don't need them as part of a WCW invasion. I'm with you. You gotta have Goldberg. You gotta have Sting. I'm fine with Steiner for the banter, and I'm okay with Booker and Page as well. If that's your 5, I can live with that. Because Booker and Page are good to have. They are actual WCW guys too, definitely. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm fine if those are your 5. That's good, and I feel you can run a good invasion angle off of that. Of just all right, these are your core WCW guys who were WCW. I mean, Steiner, not really. But for the most part, they were WCW through and through. And then they're just coming in and they're looking to take down the Fed after failing to take down the Fed.
See, this is the thing, right? Is Flair comes up in the chat. My instincts are Flair leads the troops into battle. But, Flair is just objectively going to be the babyface against Vince because people are just going to cheer Ric Flair, aren't they? He's great. He woos and stuff, doesn't he? But Vince like that, then it runs into an issue where like the WWE audience doesn't want to boo their own. It's just hard. Look, the one thing I will say about this, I think it's a shame that they didn't just pay up for some of these guys. But like, it was a hard angle to book, right? Like there was a lot of moving pieces here, and what they eventually did was they just did like a very dry WCW bad guys. You know, like every heel becomes WCW, which sucks. But I do kind of get it, even though it's like a big missed opportunity. If that makes any sense, it's difficult.
Cracker Jack says it is an incredibly hard angle to book, even in TEW. I mean, it's also JJ says don't have Austin turn. I mean that was another issue. It was like Austin turned at 17, which is like right when all this was going to happen. Like the timing of it wasn't good either because they were going full heel Austin. They were going with Triple H, the 2-man power trip, and then Triple H gets hurt, and that kind of throws a wrench in the thing. I do wonder like how it plays out if Triple H doesn't get hurt. I mean, then I think it's worse for everybody because Triple H, we're beating all these dudes much easier.
Here's the thing: what finish do you do at 17? Because this is the problem with that heel. Like, I get it, but like, I also get why they didn't want to beat Rock like just clean and look. I've said this before. I've said it a million times. I don't care what. I listen. The business part of it, I get it, brother. I think that was a good story they told there. I really do. Like the guy that was just desperate, and he knew like he needed it just to get his life on track, and he did the unthinkable. I think that's powerful storytelling. I get why it didn't work. I completely get it, guys. But like, man, I do think there's something to it. Unfortunately, Rock then like leaves and does a film, and it's just hard.
Where are you at on? I don't think I've ever had this conversation with you. So, the story, as you mentioned, Austin's just desperate, sells his soul. Austin loses that 3 Stages of Hell match to Triple H. Did you like that loss? Did it add to, oh man, does he have it anymore? Or was that like, all right, come on now. We don't need our WrestleMania main eventer losing this big match.
I think it's very difficult for me because I would like it more if it wasn't Triple H. You know, just inherently. But I think it's... Did it need to happen? No, but it was such a bloody, memorable match that, like, I think it kind of was pretty cool, to be honest. I do. I think there was something to it. Like, and here's the other thing with that Austin stuff, is when they do the angle where it's like bring the real Stone Cold back, I mean, that works. Like, people go crazy for that. So you could have just done that and had him back as a babyface. Like, they did it. It worked. They then got out of it again. Which they did a lot, by the way. Like, in that alliance thing, Angle is like huge over as a babyface. They turn him heel and then turn him back. Like, it's a mess. They get lost in that shit.
For 17, do you do the same finish, but because Austin said this, he stuns McMahon afterwards. And then you get the babyface pop out of that, and it's like, okay, he got what he wanted out of this deal, but now he's still Steve Austin.
I don't know. I do like it, but it feels a little bit cowardly, doesn't it?
It does. It's definitely a coward finish, but like...
It's something. No, I get it. I'm not against it. I mean, look, I think Aaron points out, don't make him what I wouldn't have made him what they did, where he becomes like this weird comedy guy. I get it. I understand it, but it's just too much. Here's what I would say. In an ideal world, you do that finish, and then Bill Goldberg spears him on Raw, and that's the first shot. In an ideal, if everything is perfect and you have all the talent at your disposal, Bill Goldberg spearing Steve Austin on Raw 1 week, 2 weeks after Mania would have been the perfect start to an invasion. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, because here's the thing. You talk about shades of grey in this invasion thing. People would have popped just for the idea of it. Austin's a heel too. Like, to me, then you'd have to... like, you would want the invasion to be like unmentioned attacks, you know? Like, Goldberg spears Austin and the camera just cuts away and like no one talks about it, you know? Like, you just get people talking. And I know that when Dipshit did it, he like had guys shoot fighting. No, I'm not an idiot. I'm not doing that. But like, I do think there would be something to be said for, like, Goldberg shows up, no mention of it. 2-3 weeks later, you know, Sting, lights go out and he death drops Taker. And it's like this weird idea that people feel like they're seeing something they're not supposed to. I think there's something to that. I just, at the end of the day, you have to beat one of the promotions. And as I'm naming these guys, it feels like WCW guys, like, they're just, they're kind of heroic. Right? I mean, Sting and Goldberg are like pure babyface in WCW. I know they both have their shitty turns, but let's be honest, Jeremy, they're babyfaces. Like, they are.
Yeah.
DDP, babyface, same thing. Booker, babyface. And Ric Flair's not a babyface, but by that point, I mean, good lord, everyone's, you know. Would you have Shane as the WCW guy? Yeah, see, that's the other thing. It's a great moment, but where do you go from there? I don't know. What do you do? See, I kind of think there's something to be said for Bischoff coming on behalf of the NWO and trying to sort of sell their allegiance sounds interesting to me.
I think you can make it work with Shane. Like, you keep that moment. If you, again, just have the names for it, it works a lot better. But, you know, Shane has now rallied the new group to come against his father and everything. Like, I think, but you can't go too heavy on, like, the McMahon stuff, because that's what they ended up doing anyway, is they went heavy on McMahon's. And, like, you just can't do that.
No, because it becomes everything WCW fans don't want, and you actively upset. See, here's the thing, though, and this is the big question. We can fantasy book a million times over, but here's the big question. If you do this angle right, and you and I book it in the most tastefully way possible for WCW, do WCW fans come over, or are they done? It feels like they may have just been done. Like, it really does feel that way. I know there's a better chance more of them come, don't get me wrong, but it really does feel like for a lot of people, it's like, well, I've stuck with this shit for long enough. It sucked. It died. I'm moving on with my life.
I definitely think you get more to come over, but yeah, you're probably. It did feel like they were just out of it, because like their promotion was gone, and then the way But if you have, I don't know, if you have the top names come over and you do treat WCW actually well, maybe.
Yeah. You get more.
That's the it's not going to be,
right?
Yeah, it's not going to be like the full audience. That's for sure.
Yeah, because again, I've spoken this before, so I apologise for this, and I repeat myself. But people do miss like how cultural it was. You know, like there were just some people that only watched WCW, and before that they watched the NWA. Like it was their wrestling. Like, and the timeline ended then. And even if you and I did a really kind of appreciative look at WCW. I still think stylistically the differences are such that, like, it just wouldn't have been the same. Now, like, again, you should not do what they did, which is basically just, like, they clown people for ever liking WCW, which is so lame. Like, what? And that's the other thing, by the way. Like, when people take shots at that company in a sporting fashion, you'll get, like, guys get upset. Like, these people they've been beating up someone that's dead for 20 years. Like, they've been throwing shots in a war that's over for 20 years. Let people have fun at their expense. I mean, I definitely think WCW fans were turned off by the fact they knew they were going to get dunked on. And there was never going to be comeuppance. I mean, after he buys it, he does that, they get the comeuppance of Shane and all that good stuff. Shane beats him, but then he's the babyface after that, you know? So, there's a lot of issues with it, clearly. But it's... I mean, we can't lie about it or glamorize it. It was a significant moment in the industry for the worst, right? I mean, as bad as WCW was at the end, there's a lot of fans just vanished. And we'll see stuff on Twitter sometimes. Oh, I got back in for AEW, and it's like, I'm sure there's people that have done that. Let's be honest, there's not many of them, right? We lost a huge group of wrestling fans. Like, it's a shame, but the problem is like, was there any saving WCW? Like, our hearts might want to say one thing, but no, I don't think there was. I think it's just a slow death, as opposed to what they did, which is like this Shakespearean collapse, you know? Like, do we really think if Bish gets hit, anything good happens? Because I don't. If they keep the
TV, though, like, why aren't they just, like, TNA forever? Especially with the way... See, like, because Bischoff was gonna... I mean, he had Turner's money, but... Because they lost so much money in such a short period of time. So, like, that's an issue. But if they keep the TV, then they can just continue to move along. Because at least they had the name of WCW. Like, TNA never starts up if WCW never goes under. Right? So, they're just basically TNA. But I do think there's...
Is that good?
Not really. Not really.
Yes, this is Bob O'Neill was like Nitro was really good once. I wish they'd have figured things out, and I know this is easy for me to say because I'm a young fuck and I'm watching I'm watching back rather than living it. But like, listen, man, this may be the writer in me talking. There is something to be said for how insane that promotion lived. Like, it's the most WCW demise ever, right? I mean, They legitimately. I can't stress this enough, folks. They entered this world as the most incompetent league. They sort things out. They go on Monday nights, and Bischoff, in the biggest of big dick energy you'll ever see, like spoils the other show. He loses his way, and then like his last fatal blow to himself is spoiling the other show. This is if you wrote this in a film, people are like, that's too much. It's too perfect. Oh, and by the way, he spoils the result of a guy that he fired because he was like an insurance concern, Mick Foley. I mean, that is as great a WCW demise as you can. Look, I think this is really easy for me to say because there are people who lost their jobs, and that's a terrible shame. You know, and there's a lot of people who lost their wrestling career, but it's like, fuck, man, there's something to be said for going out in grand fashion, you know, and they produced the worst wrestling ever, and they said, we're out, it's over. You know, some of these promotions are going to live forever. I don't think that's a good thing necessarily. Some of these things it needs to end at some point. You know, I'm glad Impact, in all seriousness, is, you know, they've steadied the ship, and I think in a lot of ways, creatively, they're better than ever now. But like, there's been times with Impact, right, Jeremy, where it's like, man, this is damaging your legacy if anything. Like, it's hardly existed. I don't think it's there anymore, but there was times, definitely. It's weird. I don't know.
I don't know if it's there anymore, but like, their legacy now is just legitimately they exist. Right, like
hard to kill.
Like that's sort of their legacy. It's just like, hey, we're still around. Like,
right.
That's kind of it.
Ring of Honor as well. It's not just look at TNA. I mean, Ring of Honor is, from what I can gather, is critically acclaimed again, and that's good. And what I watched of it this year, I really liked. But like, we have to be honest about its place in the industry. It was once so groundbreaking, and it's now. I mean, it's a black hole of relevance, isn't it? If we're being honest. I mean, it is just anything could happen on that show. Mark Briscoe could have shot Jay in that match, and no one would have. It's a shame, and I'm not criticising it. Like, they've obviously made mistakes, and that's their thing to deal with. But there's something to be said for a company as outrageous as WCW that its greatest highs would have such incredible lows, and it never quite. There's no version of WCW. I stress this a lot. And people think I'm being critical, but I'm not. I'm saying it lovingly. There is no version of WCW that's like even close to perfect, is there? Like, it always has horrific flaws and gaping issues. That's why it rules, man. It's just the most absurd promotion, and it went out in the most absurd fashion. It just collapsed on itself. Like, it's a wild one.
If WCW continues on, aren't they stronger than Impact though? Just like, I mean, we talked about it on our watch along. Like, dude, the Impact aesthetic just kind of sucked.
Oh.
Like, I think WCW on aesthetic alone is just doing better than what Impact is doing.
The question is, what's the talent pool? And my concern would be, was Bischoff at that point progressive and open-minded enough to know the guys he needed to get? You know?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing with Bischoff, and people always miss this, but it's 100% true. One of his biggest flaws was like when he was in the business, he clearly stopped following what was actually going on. Because when he would get a guy like Brett, in his mind it was like unfathomable that Brett was a bigger deal than some of his older stars. Because he was like, no man, these were the guys, you know, like Mick Foley, he legit just didn't realise Mick had become what he'd become. Dude, if he was not aware of like them guys being as over as they were, I don't know if Eric's going and watching some indie show and be like, man, this is Samoa Joe kid, let me tell you. Like, and that's the thing, like, does it just end up being like Nash and Hogan and like the same? Like, because we have the thing about late WCW is everyone looks at the roster. You know this, Drew, because you've seen it. People do this shit where they go, you know, look at the roster, it's still a great talent pool. It's like, no, it wasn't. All those guys sucked by then. They had nothing left to do in WCW. Like, guys like Lex Luger were negative. They were not helping anyone in 2000, 2001.
I mean, they lost out on guys like Eddie and Jericho and stuff because they wouldn't, you know, the older guys just wouldn't make room for those guys. So no, I don't really have confidence that Bischoff goes to ROH and is like, oh yeah, AJ Styles. I mean, they had AJ.
They had AJ.
Yeah,
they had AJ.
But like, all right, are they gonna push him? Do they see Samoa Joe? Like they had Daniels too, but it's like, okay, do you push these guys and everything? Do you actually like feature them on television, or are they just like cruiserweight guys having good matches and then they just stay there for their entire career? And like, I kind of think that's where they would have been.
Who, if we just try to recall their core group when they closed, who would be the guy you'd try and go with? Because you just pointed out a lot of the young guys that people wanted to get pushed had left. So, like, look, bless him, I don't want to dunk on him again, but Lance Storm's not it. Like, you're not doing that, right? Like, he isn't Eddie, he isn't... I guess Ray, do you just put the mask back on Ray and fucking go with it? Like, do something completely different.
People are saying Booker in the chat. Are they tried with Booker? It was bad time. It was bad timing. Like it probably wasn't gonna work. Yeah, putting the mask back on Ray is a good idea. Like everybody else is just like older. Like Booker. Like Booker's fine, but I don't know. Like Sting's older. Nah, you can't do Kidman. Like
the other thing with Booker is, through no fault of his own, he's almost damaged goods in that setting because it's like that was such bad wrestling when he was on top, and it isn't his fault.
Yeah,
but like coming back after that, coming back after that and being like, our top guy is the same top guy we had during those terrible times. Like,
yeah,
the reason I would be tempted to go with Ray is, if nothing else, there was no top guy in WWE like Ray. You know, and you could at least, like, who does he work with? Do you do something insane? Here's one for you, Jeremy. Do you try to convince Scotty Steiner after a long heel title reign to put over Rey Mysterio Jr., clean as a sheet? And if you do, what happens? Does he get over? Like, I kind of think he would get over in that spot. That's just me. That would be my pitch. You also have Goldberg still. Maybe just Golden and Goldberg again.
Dude, I'm looking at the pay-per-view for Sin. I don't know if I've ever watched this pay-per-view. At least not, like, recently.
Sorry to hear that.
This fucking card. The main event is Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, Sid, and Road Warrior Animal. Do you know how long this match is, Joseph?
21 minutes.
7 minutes. I mean, good on him. Like, good on him for just realizing, yeah, we don't need this shit to go, like, too long here. Let's just go 7 minutes. But, like, dude, this is your pay-per-view main event. Like, this is the longest match on this show is Team Canada against Filthy Animals. 13 minutes. That's the longest match on the show. This is honestly my kind of wrestling. Like, you know, let's keep everything under 15.
It very much proves the point of, like, what we were just saying. Like, this is not a good roster. Like, people convince themselves, they look back, oh, Lex, you know, Sid. It's like, nah, man, these guys were... I don't think the rest of the audience would have been ready for Top Guy Ray in 2001. Yeah, you might be right. I'm just... At least it would be out of the box, you know? I feel like it would be something. At least, you know, his performance can do it. Also, I know that Scott was, like, a mess, and he's like, had, 1 foot and all that shit, but Scott could do some crazy shit with Ray, right? Could Scott bust out some of the old school shit with Ray? I feel like he could.
Dude, this roster really does suck. Like, so this is their final pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh no, their final pay-per-view is Greed. So this roster is horrible. Jason Jett against Kwee, Elix Skipper and Kid Romeo against the Filthy Animals, Stasiak against Bam Bam, Lance and Awesome against Hugh Morris and Conan. Can you do anything with Mike Awesome at this point? Or is he just, like, completely ruined?
It's not his fault. He's been the fat trick thriller on television. It's just, you know, and it's on their television, so it ain't even like it's another promotion. Like, it's brutal, man. And that's the stuff, like, all of that fun gimmick stuff, people laugh at it, see if they can get it over. It's like, man, that defines you as a character, as a wrestler. See, look, in fear of being a dick about this, I don't know their situations. I haven't seen many people being like, can we see Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas on anyone else's TV? Like, when you play those characters, that's who you are, man. Like, it's a bummer, but it's the reality, right? It's also not true. Nick Aldis wants Curtis Axel on TV, but none of the fans do.
Ernest Miller against Canyon. Booker T and Rick Steiner. Dustin and Dusty against Flair and Jarrett. And then Scott Steiner and DDP is your main event.
See, if Dustin had his shit together, you could use Dustin as a top guy, but he did not have his shit together. Like, how?
Yeah, and I don't know if you're using Dustin as a top guy in 2001.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could do something with Dusty, because Dusty's such a great character, but he'd still be a hard sell. He's been
your top guys, your top guys aren't very good.
Yeah.
Like, in ring wise. And then your other guys just probably aren't ready. You ain't carrying like Shane Helms ain't carrying the company. Lance Storm, like Sean Stasiak.
Too big of a gap. Yeah, it's too big of a gap. And that's, the other thing is, it isn't just they aren't good, the top guys, they're unwilling. They don't want to play ball. Like, they just don't. And people can say, oh, it would change you, but dude, these guys ain't rushing to put anyone over. They couldn't give a shit. You know, like, this is, it reached its proper conclusion, WCW. It really did. It's probably Double J, Booker, and Steiner for a year into a new Aces. That's the thing, though. That sucks, doesn't it? You know? Because I agree with you on Crackerjack. That was fine, but that's what they did. And, like, even though it isn't their fault, the fans will know that, you know? It's very difficult.
You've actually got to get people ready in that position, though. And that, because, like, they had Double J, Booker, and Steiner for a year. And there was no sign. I mean, I just read everything off. It's like, who would have been ready to take this position if the company was revived, right? Like, there's nobody ready to step up. So, because they didn't get anybody ready for this spot. They had guys a year before this under contract they could have put in that position, and then they lost them.
Yeah, that's the thing is, that's Bischoff's biggest issue to me, that, again, goes under the radar so much. He didn't allow his brain to change with the times. So it was unfathomable to him. Wait, you want me to emphasise a Chris Jericho over Randy Savage? He just never moved on. He never quite realised that the wrestling fan had actually left their top guys behind somewhat. Now, RVD is interesting, I'm Crackerjack, because that is the word on the street, is that was his plan, right? RVD was going to be his top guy. That's what people say. People say it was going to be, you know, Joey Styles and Don as the announcers, and he was going to sign Rob Van Dam. That's what like the always the rumor has been. Rob's interesting. I mean, look, there's a lot to be said for Rob in a positive sense. I think the thing that really stands out in this conversation, though, is we're doing all of these alternatives and we're all trying our best, but, like, dude, think who the WWE have got on top right now. I mean, like, it's Rock and Austin. It's Taker. Even Triple H, they've, like, solidified. You know, like, Jericho's been solidified now a little. Like, Angle. And, like, we're sitting here trying to, like, roll out. I'm doing Ray. We got RVD. Like, these would be good wrestling. Don't get me wrong. If you moved to Saturday and did it in Vegas in a studio, you could have a nice little wrestling show. But in terms of competition, dude, WCW was like a decade away from getting back in the game, right? It seems that way.
Did we watched this show, I think, Joe? So Super Brawl 2000? Didn't we watch this?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
This roster sucked even then, like a year before.
Yeah, honestly, like, people really don't get, like, how rotten to the core it was. They don't understand it. There are people that just they look at the lineup and they're like, oh man, how did they fuck this one up? It's like, well, very simple. All these guys began to suck and none of them wanted to work there anymore. Like, the end.
Like Sid, Scott Hall, and Jeff Jarrett's on top. Hogan and Luger, the Flair and Funk match. Like, there's nobody on this roster either where I'm like, oh yeah, a year from now, this is who I would have as my top guy. And maybe I'm looking at it with, you know, the glasses of, well, let's see what they did with these guys. But, like, I'm trying to put myself back in 2000 and looking at this, but like, okay, who could feasibly be, like, the breakout star from this roster? And, like, your best options are, like, Kidman and Tank Abbott. Sting haven't tried to kill the man on that show. I just pushed him as a legit killer.
The absolute perfect rebuild for WCW would have been an incredibly imperfect return to like the early 90s version of themselves, where they're just like a trotting along wrestling company. But they're different, man. You know, they're not quite like WWE, and it's like, what's the... I get it, right? It's a rebuild. I understand that. We should know that as sports fans, Jeremy. But do you think Bischoff would have thought that way? I feel like Bischoff would have been so desperate to get back in the race, he'd been running Hogan again.
Oh, yeah. He definitely would have. Like,
Yeah.
There would have been wrestling companies. Yeah, wrestling companies like don't always like know the rebuild, right? Like especially when you've been at the top
Yes.
like that. Like, yeah, Hitman Punk's got it. Like, tank for 3 years, get 3 years of number one pick. Like that's legitimately like you almost like kind of have to do that. It's just like tank with like. You can run Hogan and stuff on top. Like, that's fine. But you've got to build up, like, this undercard stuff. Like, you've got to sign guys like the guys that TNA signed and just, like, work them up over the course of a year or two. And Bischoff never really showed that he was going to do that because he didn't do that when he had that opportunity with again, guys like Jericho and Eddie. Like, they were just always slotted in one spot. And then they were out.
Here's the other thing, though, right? Like, who is Hogan going to work in these matches? Because at this point, they've done every match. And they've all been shit, so no one's, like, desperate to see rematches, you know?
Hogan and DDP? I legit don't think they had that many matches, right?
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's maybe a good one.
Hogan and Booker?
It's just like maybe it's because I've seen too much of stuff. Like, how uninspiring does it sound? Like, really?
Oh yeah,
I know you're not saying it would be good. I just think it's a shame, but it's definitely a worthwhile conversation to be had because it's just with Hogan and guys like that. It's like you can sometimes get lost in that like TW mindset, you know. It will rate okay. It's like, nah, man. At that time, people were out on it. They were done.
They did have some matches. So 1997 ended in a DQ. 1998 ended in a DQ. 1999 was an actual like finish. So 3 one-on-one matches. That's what DDP.
That's a fresh match. That's what
DDP.
Here's the problem. Is Hogan going to be doing the awful nostalgia stuff that only worked in WWE because he hadn't been there for a decade? If not, how the hell do you get around not just doing him as Hollywood Hulk again, which no one in the world needs to see more of? So this is the thing. He's like, when Hogan, here's a good example. The Dudley Boys, right? Dude, by 2015, no one in the world would give a shit about the Dudley Boys. They come out to their WWF theme on Raw. Fuck, they're the Beatles. Like, people like seeing guys come back. They just do. Hogan comes back to WWE and he's red hot again because the WWE fans are happy to have Hulk back. In WCW, I don't know what fresh coat of paint you give him because he's already started redoing the nostalgia stuff and he worked Kidman in that terrible program. He put the belt down and said this is a piece of shit, all this good stuff. But then, like, if you do him as a heel again, he's Hollywood hot. Who needs more of that? Like, it's a hard one, right? Like, it feels like they explored so much in that sort of crash TV they got into. It's just really difficult.
He never had a one-on-one match with Booker.
There you go.
I legitimately think you kind of just do. He actually never faced Booker in anything. They were just in 2 battle royals together. Like, no tag, nothing like this. Do you go shoot style of, like, Booker and Paige? Or just, like, you've been here, you've been holding us down and stuff? Like, they kind of tried that with Kidman, right? But, like, Kidman, like, that ain't the guy.
But the problem is everyone that would be in the audience that still like WCW would be like, oh, fuck, not more new blood rising.
Yeah.
It's like, it's poison, isn't it, by that point? Every which way you go, there's, like, a blocker, and it's like, it's... Do you know what the truth of it is? We're in this point of the timeline, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. But like, realistically, it's Brett coming in. Brett coming into WCW is the marker you put down, and you're like, listen, in 1 month they fucked up. Brett coming in, and they messed up the finish of Sting and Hogan. At that point, you die. At that point, that's the end. And they never really recover, do they? They have moments. Goldberg winning the title was an incredible moment, but when you do that big of a miss, and then they get Tyson on the other channel, and if we were to go back time machine style, that's really the moment. Like, if they could have used Brett to breathe new life in the promotion, you know how Finn Balor in NXT changed the style? Like, he made it different again.
Yeah.
Brett could have done that for WCW, right? Like, he could have actually grounded things a bit. Because for years their main events had sucked. And instead, like, Bischoff was he just wasted it. And Brett obviously wasn't his best either, but...
Brett could have worked the guys like he wanted to work and everything. And I think Brett would have actually, like, elevated a lot. Like,
yeah.
Like, he would have had no problem putting these guys over. Or at least, like, at least working them and making them look good. Like, Hogan, Nash, these guys, they weren't even, like, trying to work them, much less put them over and make them look good. Like, they were just like, nah, we're not even going to work with these guys. Like, I mean, Jericho, like, he tried to shoot his own angle with Goldberg, and he got that over, and Goldberg's just like, nope, just not happening.
And
so
here's the thing. JJ said here, and this is a great point, Nitro goes to 3 hours and Thunder starts in the same week. The end.
Yeah.
It's the end of the story. Like, it's, and this is the thing, we started this conversation with my weird theory about WWE. One of the things I love about wrestling most is that idea, and I think it's increasingly faint nowadays, like, the idea that those decisions and those moments in time create ripple effects that change the industry forever. You know? Let's be honest, Jeremy. When the Fiend Bray Wyatt is felled by a jackhammer in Saudi Arabia, you can post all the Twitter threads you want. Listen, I'm 15 months removed from that thing and a fucking pandemic too. That had no effect on the business. Not one.
How dare you? What if that started the pandemic, Joseph?
Call me a sadist, but there's something to be said for that idea, that almost, that toxic idea that these little moments in time we could circle. If we could just slap Eric Bischoff and say, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you doing this, that, and the next thing? It changes everything. Now, whether it does change everything, I don't know, but we're big Brett guys. Maybe we're being silly. Dude, I really think if you use Brett correctly, he gives you a chance to phase out the old guys that shouldn't be there anymore.
Oh, 100%.
I really believe that. And it's such a shame to me that Bischoff never allowed his mindset to evolve on the business and see it for himself.
How are you booking Brett's debut? Obviously, like, don't fuck up the fast count, but like, I don't even think that was like, oh, let's do essentially a Montreal nod as like Brett's, big debut type thing. Like, I don't even think that was that great.
I do get the appeal of what they did with him as referee because it's like the screw job thing, right? I get it.
But I'm not booking that at all with Sting and Hogan. I'm just booking Sting clean. Like, I'm not even having Brett like come in to that shit. Like, I'm just booking Sting winning that match clean.
What if you just... Because here's the problem is, Starrcade is basically set, and you want Brett on TV, right? Like, you don't want to have to make people work, because he's red hot.
Yeah.
What if you just have him as the referee and Sting wins clean?
I'm fine with that.
Because I know that in his book, he's like, the referee, what the hell? But it's like, it was like the biggest match in WCW history. Like, it wasn't, like, that could work, right? In a vacuum.
I'm kind of with Sean Burby of debut him the Nitro after Starrcade. Because it feels like Starrcade is like your finale that you spent literally a year like putting together, and then the Nitro after is like your fresh start. You bring in Brett and you start off hot with that. Here's
the thing though, I know the news round's different now, but 4 weeks ago Andrade debuted. That feels like approximately 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Brett is coming off the most controversial event in professional wrestling history. Dude, if I can get him on my TV, I'm getting him on my TV. And that's the problem. In an ideal world, Sean's spot on. Yes, I'm doing that. But I get it, right? Like you're trying to sell pay-per-views. for the biggest show of the year, and you can get the biggest, most controversial, most talked about character in the industry on your show, you're going to do it. I think there's a world in which Sting wins the title and you move into a babyface match between Sting and Bret that marks a new era. Because what it would mean, here's the thing, everyone will go, who turns Sting? It's like, neither of them. Because the point of the new era is that NWO shit's gone now, man. Like, it's now back to being WCW that you guys remember before they made this place poison. Obviously, that changes the Goldberg timeline, and you'd have to. I mean, Sting's whole run was just. They made a mess of it, didn't they?
It wasn't even a run.
Exactly. It wasn't a thing. So that would probably be my route. I'd probably do a classic Bret and Sting babyface program that tells the audience we're starting fresh after the NWO toxicity and shenanigans. How you then work back? What do you do with Hogan then? I have no idea. And this is where it gets difficult, and it's easy to fantasy book, but then you really kind of ponder what you do with these old guys, and it's like, I don't know. I just do not know. Like, they feel like you'd explored that. Because here's the thing that is interesting. This is 97. Hogan nearly went back to WWE months after that. Because that's when they did the whole thing where they're talking about him working Austin, and they meet with him in public so that his contract goes up with WCW. Do you just, like...
Okay, let him walk?
It's easy to say in hindsight, right? Like, very easy. But looking in history... It might be easy for a reason.
Right. Yeah, it's tough to be like in that moment, be like, oh yeah, we'll just let Hogan go. Like, he is still coming off of, I mean, he was part of the Starrcade thing. Like, everyone wanted to see him get that comeuppance. I'm with you of like, so I would have Bret debut following night, come out and just confront Sting. I like if Bret is the referee for the match. I don't think that really changes the overall plan of like doing Bret and Sting. So like I'm fine at that. The Hogan NWO stuff is where I kind of think you just do the full, because like they had already at this point in 97 there hadn't been like the full on split, had there like Wolfpack and all of this stuff. Like that wasn't really
coming. Yeah, I don't think it's there yet. I think they've hinted. I forget because a lot of that NWO stuff timeline wise confuses me. But yeah.
I think you keep doing. I think you keep building towards that. You just do that better, right? Like you just kind of do like an NWO split, let them sort of fight amongst themselves, and then actually do WCW stuff elsewhere. And that way you don't have to do like the NWO stuff at the top of the card. Like that sort of, and then you culminate that in like. I'm always so confused with like the NWO stuff, but you can kind of culminate that with like Hall and Nash against, is Giant's still there. He's still NWO at this point. So you culminate that in like Hall and Nash against Giant and
actually, I don't know Hogan. If he is. I forget. I feel like he might have been out of that point. I don't know. But
I feel like Starrcade 97 he faced Luger though and represented the NWO.
Yeah, he may have. The Giant, because the Giant's there for one of the big babyface celebrations too.
Yeah,
I always get confused.
You know.
Either way, there was big matches to be made, right? Like, Iron Crackerjet said, I think you could build Hogan.
Savage NWO at this point? That's good.
Yeah, see, that's actually good because you could also really let like the announce team, as they're celebrating the new era of WCW, you could very much allow them to be like, look at these guys fighting amongst themselves, like it would allow the audience to kind of move forward without taking them off the show. They would be infighting rather than ruining the whole promotion, which is what the storyline was. Right? They were ruining WCW basically.
So it does look like Giant is out. He faced Kevin Nash at Sold Out on the next pay-per-view, so it seems like he's not part of it. But Savage looks like he is because he worked main event of that show against Luger, which makes me believe he's NWO. So yeah, I actually like Hogan and Savage against outsiders. Yeah, and like you said, Joseph, it's their own little thing, and it's like, look at these guys, the infighting and whatnot, and you can have some fun with that. I think that would actually be kind of good.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good one here. Sean said maybe it's Sold Out, do Sting and Hart versus Hogan and Nash, and that's when you could start the Hogan and Nash rift.
Yeah,
and then you'd be saving Sting and Hart for Super Bowl. Now I'm starting to see a line here, and then you got to figure out where Goldberg fits. It's the only thing about it is as much as we all agree this is a terrible point in the timeline, it ends up being a magical moment when he wins the title. And that's the only thing. Listen, I'll sacrifice it for what we're doing here, but you have got to say, it is incredible when he beats Hulk Hogan, right? Like, it's glorious. I understand there's 101 issues along the way, but, like, it's a special moment. So you'd have to fit Bill in another way. I don't quite know who you'd fit in as, like, your top heel. I don't know. It'd be hard. But you got a lot of talent. I mean, you could figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah, how do you get the belt? Do you use Hogan as, like, a transition champion or Savage as a transition champion to beat? Because are we putting the belt on Brett in February?
That's the thing, right? Sting has to win at Super Bowl. He has to keep it for longer because otherwise we're doing the same. I think in an ideal world, you eventually end up with Brett as your world champion. Look,
I think you have Brett. So here's quick fantasy booking here.
Quick.
Half
an hour later.
Yeah. So you have Sting win at Super Brawl. I think you do a Hogan-Sting rematch at... Wait, because Goldberg wins the title in August, right?
Yes.
Okay, because it was right before Road Wild or whatever. You do a Hogan-Sting rematch at, like, Bash at the Beach. Okay? Hogan wins with, like, some shenanigans. And kind of he gets the title back. And then Goldberg gets the title. You can do it on that Nitro. Because Bash at the Beach is July. Hogan keeps the title for, like, less than a month. And then Goldberg... He runs... Same thing. Like, he kind of runs through the NWO. Like, maybe the Hall... I think you can, like, really stretch the NWO rift.
Agree.
Like, I think you can, like, really, really stretch that out. So maybe, like, for Bash at the Beach, because it's, the 2-year anniversary of when they got together, it's like, oh, they're on the same page here. They're helping Hogan get the title back. And then August, you do the big shenanigans where Goldberg just fights everybody off, pins Hogan, and that causes, like, more of a rift of Hogan's, like, this used to work. Like, we used to all come in, together, and we keep the title, like, 1 month. Like, what are we doing? And then you kind of...
And now here's where you go. So, at that point, you've effectively got a sort of WCW Avengers that have won, being Sting, Brett, and Goldberg.
Yeah.
And a DDP. Okay?
Yeah.
That's when, after 6 to 8, 9 months, whatever it's going to be, you go to bitter Bret Hart, and he turns. And I think he could be great in that. Right?
Yeah, and he beats Goldberg at Starrcade.
Yes, this is the thing. You'd have to divorce it from the NWO stuff, not to make people go, oh, another heel. The reason you could do Bret is Bret's not a WCW guy. So him being like, why am I supposed to be happy that we've beat the NWO? I'm here to be in the title. I haven't won it yet. You could do... Here's the thing for the streak, though. I'm for Bret winning the title. I've always had this kind of thought that, and he would never go for it, so we're purely fantasy booking. I do think that Jericho thing could have been, like, it could have been something, man. Like, the idea of that Chris Jericho, the most obnoxious, like, non-threat to Goldberg ever, catching some sort of bullshit win, imagine the heat he could have got. Like, I really think he could have got that streak. I know Goldberg never does this, Jeremy. I know. Could you imagine him, like, falling into a win over Bill Goldberg and ending the streak? Like, imagine Goldberg is wrestling, he's wrestling Jericho or whatever's happening. 101 things happen with the NWO, and, like, Jericho legit falls into it. Or maybe he grabs the tights. Maybe he does something, underhanded. And there's that moment of shock of just, like, please tell me Chris Jericho didn't just end the streak. And he does promos every single week about the streak. Like, I do think that's one of those ones where that's where you could have elevated a guy. Jericho is easy to elevate because he has the biggest range of skill. Like, look, we love Eddie. We have to be honest. Eddie wasn't the promo he became at that point, so it would be harder. Jericho could have gone. I feel like that was a way. I do think there was something to that, but I do also Bret. That makes a lot of sense. Bret winning the title was strong, definitely.
I'm with you. Is Jericho like 1998? When are you putting the title on Jericho? Like the fall?
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Does he feel like a top guy at that point? I don't know.
I'm just not sure. Like,
I'm not either. I'm not. I've got to admit, I'm not. He's maybe one that you would have had. When you brought... So Brett obviously lost to Sting, goes away. in an ideal world, Brett elevates Chris in the summer, not by losing to him, just by having great matches with him and a great program. And that gets Chris at a point where people see him as an upper mid, fringe top guy. And then you could maybe pull it off. It's obviously we're looking at. Look, I think we both agree in 1998, Brett could have a great match with Chris Jericho, right?
Yes.
So it's hard to put yourself in a world where that's a thing. I just think, as much as I think, Brett beating Goldberg's great, or I've said DDP before, I think that could have worked. It would have been nice if you really did make someone, wouldn't it? Because that would have made Chris. He would have got so much heat from winning that, beating that streak. It could have been magic.
I think you could. I mean, Jericho, Brett could have, like you said, Brett would have elevated him just by matches. I think you still could have done something with Jericho and Goldberg, as a follow-up of, Jericho's, the second guy to beat him. And, he just runs with, that. Because Jericho, he's going to get anything over.
That could almost be better. Yeah.
Because, if he's, the second guy to beat him, and he's the first one, you had 217 wins or whatever. Your second streak, you had 13 wins, and then I beat you. Something like that. Like Jericho, he's going to get that shit over easily. So I think Jericho, doing that same thing, but he doesn't end the streak. He's just the second guy to beat him, and he just goes off with that.
I do think, listen, we don't talk about him often for obvious reasons, but another streak candidate I definitely think is, the guy we don't talk about, because I could see him in a gritty, nasty affair, people going insane for him actually beating Bill Goldberg, Because he was one of those guys that had that, people really respected him because of how physical his shit was. Him, out-toughing Goldberg could have been a moment. There's so many... The thing with undefeated streaks is they are very hard to end, but does it feel like promotions always take the least interesting route, Is it listen to all the things we've laid out here, guys. Listen, we're fantasy booking. Goldberg would have gone for none of these. Please know we're smart enough to realise that.
Yeah.
At the same time, that's what they came up with. It's so brutal,
Goldberg would have gone for just
losing
to Brett. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Brett probably would have said one bad thing about him, and Bill would have just cried. And you're talking about a guy who's Bill is I think 53, and when asked who is Bill Goldberg, burst in tears. He had no ability to answer the question without crying. He's a lunatic. I love him.
Because in I think the original scenario of Brett winning at Starrcade, he just kind of out wrestles him, right? He just kind of
Bret Hart too.
Yeah,
it's the Hitman.
Right, you can't go there and be I'm not losing to this guy. Come on.
Dude, Brett, now this is what you took, Brett as heel champ, he can do some elevating. I mentioned Ray Jr. earlier. If you want Ray to be a top guy, Brett could do that job. He could make Ray, good God, they'd have some great matches.
Ray would take him over with, one head scissors, and Brett would, give that look at the camera,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
Yeah.
Look, I think X-Pac, Sean Waltman was a great pro wrestler, but if you look at the match he did with imagine what you could do with someone with Ray's Arsenal, just fitting those things in as hope spots. Yeah, I think Brett's it is also worth saying we're big Brett guys, but Brett didn't approach it the best way, did he? I mean, he never wanted to be there.
No, we've discussed this,
Yeah, exactly. He thought it sucked. He never wanted to be there.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. It's very much the chicken or the egg with that is did Brett not want to be there, or did the booking just immediately suck? And then which one was it? If the booking was better coming in, is Brett happier? Who knows? If Brett's happier, did they book him better?
See, the thing is, I do definitely believe that the Montreal messed up Brett's his spirit was broken. I do believe.
I think that as well.
But I also think there's a truth to he just always thought WCW was shitty, and I had no in his mind it was just bad wrestling. And when he went there, he'd sold his soul, which is really. I love Brett, dude. The fact that he took 10 million over 20 years, rather than 9 million over 3, is one of the most insane things ever. He actually did that, guys. I'm all for loyalty. That is insanity. He could have done the 3 years and gone back to the Fed and made another 9 million. What is he doing? It's he was that against leaving WWF. It's difficult.
I am Crackerjack. I don't think that ends well for Brett. Chuck's got good takedown defense. Probably catches them on the feet.
Dude, Brett hates Dean's work. You don't want to ask him to wrestle Dean Malenko.
Good, he
I'm
should.
not a fan. See, Bob O'Neill got lit up about that the other day. He was like, Dean Malenko's okay, and people were like, go fuck yourself, Rob O'Neill. Like, just assaulted him. It was incredible. Bob gets just... Bob's really surprised that some of us want to meet up with him in St. Louis. He really thinks we don't like him.
Facts.
I mean, yeah, in your case, but like, he's really startled that I am the confirmed shoot. And to be at the zoo with him and all this good stuff. It's tremendous.
I'm very excited to hang out with him at All Out. It should be fun.
It should be indeed.
I see Sean Ross Sapp is making videos where he's antagonizing O'Neill.
Dude, don't eat. Like, this was crushing. When I saw this, I was like, this is the end. Like, this is what I've done. When it all is said and done, when I actually do retire, this is what they'll remember me for. The guy that made Robert O'Neill a Fightful personality, you know? Not the hundreds of features or the thousands of hours of podcast filth that we do. It will just be, he got Bob O'Neill on Fightful.com, and the rest is history.
I'll never forget your first promo. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I left it in the 30-minute video package, but your line of like, I bring him in. They told me he can't work, but he can draw. So I thought it was good. I cackle. He can't work, but he can draw.
He's the ultimate warrior of this shit. I've said that many times. He's problematic. He has bad matches. He doesn't really do anything particularly well, but people like his energy, don't they? They just enjoy him. They like seeing him. SRS and Bob need to fight. Listen, I'm Bob's friend. That doesn't need to happen. It'll go very poorly.
I think in August. I think it's SummerSlam they're gonna fight.
At SummerSlam,
yeah,
on the
SummerSlam. That's how they're gonna sell it to Peacock. We got this dirt sheet writer and Sean Ross Sapp in a fight.
Dude, if Sean tweeted, "We are here in Las Vegas. Come and watch me fight Bob O'Neill," a lot of people would go, and that's such a scary thought. Most of them wouldn't know who Bob is. They just follow Sean, like, sure, I'm gonna do that. There you go. This has been fun. We didn't actually have anything to talk about today, so it makes sense we've clocked in about 2 hours and 15 minutes of fantasy booking and World Championship Wrestling. Just sort of like post-mortem on WCW, like it just died a week ago rather than 24 years ago. It's 20 years ago. I was like 3 when the territory died, and I'm sitting here like, well, if only we could go back to 97. If only.
Oh, man. Okay. Thank you, Sean Barry. Are we done, Joseph? We good?
I mean, I could stay.
I know, me too.
Here.
Honestly, like I got nothing better to do. Like, whatever.
It's just very like, look, I'm happy to stay to check and throw out some new topics, but I do feel like you and I, at some point in that conversation we just had, went from like, this is reasonably fun to, oh my god, when's someone going to build a time machine? You know, like,
I'm legit thinking of like, you told me to check out your TEW thread. I'm gonna do that now. I'm legit thinking of like, damn, I want to go back and like rebook WCW and try to make all this play out, or rebook the WCW Rebirth or whatever. Like, this is what I want to do right now.
It's very fair.
Let me
Joe, do you
check.
ever get tired of holding the mic? I do not, because when I'm not talking, I often put it down. I've got so used to doing it too. The one thing I do like is when we've got one other person on the show, Jeremy knows. I just put the mic down. I have nothing to say. Jeremy knows that. This is my signal. Often you guys will see me just like not doing anything. Jeremy knows, okay, I'll talk. Because we did a Ricky Starks interview, right?
Yeah.
Before I was like this, and we did a really good job. That was my first interview, so I'm glad I didn't fuck it up. But we did those thing at times where we'd both go at once because we didn't want to have dead air, right?
Yeah.
So Ricky's finished his answer. I've got a question. Jeremy's an answer. We got a question. We both just go at once. If I do this, Jeremy knows I have no question.
Luther, we just fucking did our show with Luther.
Yes.
But like that was one where it's just like, okay, mic up, mic down, and then it was like, let's just keep rolling from that. All right, let me see this TW thread. I already see some of these screenshots here.
Yes, there's no booking in that thread, but it's just news screenshots that pop me. There's no booking shared.
Okay,
which is hilarious.
All right, here we go. My God, it's very long. All right. Hanma has weight issues. That's sad.
He's clinically obese. That's what it says. Clinically obese.
That's sad. Tanahashi hurt badly. Oh my God, is it 15 months?
15 months. I was devastated. We have a partnership with New Japan and Impact too, so I was hoping to bring Tanner over.
No, that's not good.
Very sad.
Oh, Omega is unhappy. Would you book him to lose to the Machine Gun?
I put the belt on the Machine Gun. That's what I did. I transitioned the belt over. He was not happy about this. I mean, the thing is, the Impact roster, as good as some of them are so far from over.
Yeah,
and he's fair. He's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Chris Bay, but how over can he be?
Omega's like friends with these guys, though. Like,
yeah, as if he'd complain.
Yeah.
As if he'd give a shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever.
You're just booking Eddie Edwards and Chris Hero.
I'd forgotten that. Do you know what that rating that match did, Jeremy?
No, what?
I mean, two great workers, right? Two tremendous professionals. Did like a 55.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Really what I was hoping for when I put
This is not over at all.
No.
Not over.
No.
Kenny Omega, big fan of Rich Swann.
Yes, that's good. I like that. He told me that like he was like some sort of unknown rookie. I appreciate that. People like Rich Swann.
I like your caveat of not wanting to get in trouble with Brian Pillman Jr., the reporting on him.
That was the one that in which allegedly Brian said that he was the top guy in the ace of AEW and he was carrying the promotion. Yes.
Elijah Burke on New Japan? Sure.
That's the first of many big moves from New Japan. You'll enjoy those as we move here.
Otunga is making enemies. Oh my God. With Shelton!
Yes, very bad news. Shelton's going to kill him.
Oh, Court. Court doesn't like you, Joe. What'd you do to piss off Court?
I don't know what I did. Every promotion that I'm not a partner with has said to me they have a hostile relationship. Like every single one of them in America, which is not ideal.
Do you have a good relationship with the AEW, I assume?
Yes, it's set in like.
Okay.
It's like an alliance. I don't know why I'm saying like I didn't make the mod. I did like an alliance gimmick with the AEW because like they're all sort of together now.
Yeah.
Right? The Machine Gun Alliance, as we call it.
What is this? Tommy Dreamer becomes the booking of New Japan of America, and then Rhino stuck.
I was proud of that one. Very proud of that, coming one after the other in the old inbox.
Oh my God, Fandango's going to New Japan.
He is. By the way, you notice these are not like New Japan of America. These are just New Japan.
Yeah.
They're just going over, pal. There you go.
I think that's all caught up, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Wow. I'll probably never play it again, but there you go.
The Impact is rolling, man.
It is. The Mike's Peak was what a wonderful send-off for The Undertaker.
Oh, God.
That was so long ago. It really feels like a different time altogether. But that was good.
That's something that needs to be in the intro video. We have so much just good shit that I just can't put into the intro video.
But was that good visually, though, or is that just me saying over and over again what a send-off
it was
is?
over and over again, but like me turning around and doing the pose.
Oh, yes, we did that.
Yeah. I could put in like the audio, but I don't want to step on the
that's fine. I like the intros. You don't need to be like Dynamite and change it every single week. Have you noticed that? Tony has like one new wrestler every week.
Yes, I know.
There's one last week. There was one where it's just like Andrade in a suit for like no reason, like just a still shot of him in a suit. Like,
you're actually you've stepped on the bit because I changed it the first week. So we had the intro the first week. The second week it was changed. The third week it was the same. I was gonna change it this week, and I was gonna kind of keep tinkering with it to see if people like how much they noticed and would know if it was like a shout to AEW just always fucking with their intro.
In one of your streams last week, you guys mentioned an all-time draft you had with Bob.
I don't think we had an all-time draft.
No, I think
Bob.
Was probably me talking about one we're gonna do. With me, we've not done that before.
Yeah, we've done an AEW draft and we've done a WWE draft.
Yeah.
We haven't done an all-time. We're gonna do something. We're gonna figure out more draft gimmicks. We have ideas, but then WWE fucked up our plans by
That's
changing.
actually what happened.
Yeah,
because now we've got to wait. Like we should just do one in August for WWE's draft. That's when to capitalise on that stuff. So
yeah,
we'll do that, and then like in the fall we'll do an all-time one of some sort.
Yes.
I am going to do the Ultimate Show thing, which might be what you're talking about, which is where you like put together a dream card with 3 other dipshits. WWE do it on the network is terrible.
What are we doing? What are we doing for the next TEW series? Have we fully hammered that? Because like it ends. So for people who are still here, tomorrow we're doing the second to last episode. So this will be the big pay-per-view tomorrow. This will be our final pay-per-view tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I think, Joseph, we're doing this media call gimmick.
Yeah.
I've decided we're going to do this media call gimmick. I think we're doing it on StreamYard, but we're going to do it. I think we should do the final episode of BP Dub on a Friday to go back to our roots. Do we want to do it? Do we want to take a week off, or do we want to do it the fall? We can't do it the following Friday because I'm going to Cleveland for SmackDown. Do we want to just end it next week?
I mean, what date what are we talking about here? What date?
Yeah. So do we end it the 16th?
Yes, that's when we should do it.
Okay.
That gives us like a 10-day build.
All right, so here's the tentative schedule. We do the second to last episode tomorrow. Next Tuesday, we do the media call. And then next Friday, we do the final episode.
Okay.
What
does the media call look like? Or what is this going to be?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know, man. Remember, we can't. If we're going to really commit to this bit within Fabe, we're not telling anyone they're going to get blown up. Honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
So
it's going to be a mix. It's going to be a mix of people who have actually watched the series, so they'll have questions, and legit reporters.
Okay.
Blue tick people are going to be
not the Drew stuff
on this media call. They're going to be asking us, why we haven't fired Velveteen Dream, and why we haven't, what our COVID protocols are and everything. The hard-hitting questions that they want asked on all these media calls that the coward dirt sheet writers don't ask.
Yeah, there's no one with a blue tick that asks hard questions. It's not possible. You don't get the blue tick if you ask hard questions.
We're going to have some blue tick people on there.
Yeah, I mean, they're good people. I'm happy to do this. I will say, before this, we went off on this diatribe about the media call. We was going to talk about what we're going to do in the next T-Dub.
Yes.
I think we both agree Bob's in the next T-Dub, right?
Yeah.
Feels like a great Bob vehicle. Now, granted, it is dangerously close to too much Bob, but there's 5-6 times as many viewers of that stuff as there is our patrons. So, to most people, they don't get enough Bob. Bob having a territory with me feels like money. My initial pitch was Jeremy and a partner, who I originally suggested as Cass, but I don't know. I'm open. Jeremy and a partner against Bob and I. But the bit is, how it was a combination of both games where we could pick our 5 guys or 4 guys, whatever. But then the other team would pick the rest of our roster. And the bit was, Bob has so many wrestlers that he publicly dislikes that we could, you guys on the other team, and this is why Cassie's probably not the person, because he's just so, easy. Who could you possibly pick that would upset Cass, other than, Tom Zenk? So, I don't know who it will be, but a bit where, Bob, just all of his enemies come to fruition, A-double, fucking the Bucks. Maybe not the Bucks, they're too good. But you know what I'm saying? All of these guys. Good. All of these pains in the arse. See, Jack Crosby's too busy. I'd love to get Jack on TW, but he's just... There's no way we get Jack to sit to lock in for 2-3 hours of fantasy booking.
Yeah, Jack's way too busy for that.
Yeah. That's my idea. And I think we'll figure it out, right? I think Cass could do it. I think Cass would be a fun one.
I think Cass can do it as well. I like the idea of teams. I mean, I like the idea. The real difficulty is just getting us 4 together enough times to keep with it, because it's easy with us. It's 2 people. Our schedules are pretty aligned. O'Neal actually has a real job that he pretends to do, and Cass, I actually don't know what Cass does.
SP3 is a really good suggestion, actually. That's a good way to go, guys. I like that a lot. The issue with SP3 is he also is just a good guy, so very hard. But we'll do it. SP3 works, right?
Yeah.
He'd love to do it, I feel. So there you go.
again, no matter who it is, it's a matter of making the schedules align. But I feel like we can figure that out. And if we record on like off days and stuff, then we'll record on off days. I think having a set schedule, people will understand if we don't have
yes,
a set schedule for that.
No, absolutely. I think it's with more moving pieces. I think people will be happy with it being fluid, and like some weeks we might do, we might do one or two. I don't know. Other weeks we might go 2-3 weeks without doing one.
Yeah,
it will be different, but like we need to do something to make the game bigger and broader. Because like, let's be honest, guys, BP Dub was an insane an idea as I could possibly muster, and we've done it for a year. I mean, it's really difficult to be like sideways step and just go, now we'll do a real life book of 98 WCW. I mean, as fun as it would be, we've got to keep up in the ante, right? Like, It's just the way my brain works with stuff. So, no, I'm correct. People couldn't cut the guys. That would be a roster set for at least like 6 months a year. It'd have to be, because that would be the fun of it.
Yeah, then I'm sure we'll figure out like some nonsense that we can throw in there, because we always do.
Yes.
Look, I like that idea. Good luck picking wrestlers that like Cass and I hate, or SP3 and I, because I don't. There just aren't many, and the people you do pick are just gonna get buried anyway. So
it is difficult. That's the one part of it that's just a problem. Is I don't want it to end up like we just pick shitty wrestlers for you guys, whereas you're picking like actually funny ones that Bob has like a beef with.
Yeah.
My one concern with the bit. Very few people in this world like Bob. So it's hard to... It's difficult. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out. We got 10 days. We've come up with good ideas on less amount of time.
We sure have. If you didn't believe us, folks, we've done a 2.5 hour stream that was not... didn't have a lot going on for it, did it? We kind of... it was like an hour and 10 minutes ago. I went, hour and 16 in. Let's do some invasion, but we just did how do we save WCW talk? Who does Bob actually like? Who does Bob like? I don't know. Does he like wrestling?
I don't think so.
I don't know if he still likes the Fiendess, but he liked Alexa Bliss. I don't know if he likes the Fiendess. He asked her to murder him many times. Which doesn't necessarily mean he likes. Yeah, he does. Morgan. I mean, to be fair, there are very few women's wrestlers based on that criteria he doesn't like.
He likes Roman. Yeah, I feel like he likes Roman.
Yeah, I think most of us do, right?
He likes Ray. He doesn't like his dipshit son, but he likes Ray.
He's dipshit.
That's what he calls him.
Dude, people hate Dominic.
It's very true.
Despise this poor man. I do not get it. I don't watch the TV, so maybe that's why.
I don't either. I wanted you to write a feature on him a year ago.
Genuinely, if I did that now, that would get dunked on into oblivion. People hate him.
It would. It's very strange that, I guess it's not, but a year ago, people were like, "Oh man, Dom, first match against Rollins, great potential and everything," and now a year later, it's like, can this guy just get off TV? He sucks.
It does feel a little bit much, but again, we don't pay enough attention, so maybe it's our fault. The Pal Choc says, "Give Jeremy a NWA, guys." Now we're cooking. Look, Alex Pawlowski would be wonderful. The issue with Alex is, he's got a kid.
Yeah, another guy who just
free. That's difficult.
Doesn't have time. I think Cass will be the easiest to secure of, "Hey, can you record right now?" And he'll be like, "Yes."
Yes, he does feel like someone that would have great fun booking wrestlers he doesn't like as well.
Yeah.
And we do have the Z-Man, who he has a personal beef with, which is good.
My teammate is the chat. I'm not listening to y'all. Y'all suck.
My God, yeah, he has a big enough heat with you guys without you trying a fantasy book. It's difficult. We do need to do more with Alex Pawlowski because he's wonderful. We do love the Alex Pawlowski.
I'd like to just do him more. I'd like to have him on more on just Twitch streams and stuff. I've got cold open ideas for him, especially with these finals coming up. So we'll do something with that. I have a very, very good cold open if the Suns win, as you can imagine.
I sure can. Sounds good.
And I guarantee, if the Bucks win, Pawlowski's gonna do a cold open as well. So we'll play something around that. I would like Alex on the Twitch and just or just on the main show more. Again, his daytimes are tough because he's a kid and he's got to watch the kid, or I think he's a shoot job as well. So
He has many rants to prepare to, right?
Yeah.
Like we produce maybe like once every 3 months. We'll do like an energetic rant. He does them like every 10 minutes. Very different, very different thing. It's just a different gig, very different.
all right, everybody, we'll wrap that. Elevation's on, Joseph. I know it's your favorite show.
Oh
so I don't
shit!
Want you to miss...
The Men of the Year are on tonight. You know?
Are they? See, I don't want you to miss the Elevation. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right.
There's only 6 matches tonight, Jeremy.
Good.
Only 6.
Good.
We're being starved.
All right, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 1, right? 1 BP Dub. Maybe this might be the second to last episode. We might talk for an hour and not book as much as originally planned.
If we do, we're going to come back post for an hour before Power and try and get. We
There
have
you
to.
go.
Listen, we'll try our best tomorrow. Book. Sorry, guys.
There you go. All right. Let's see who we can raid. I'd raid just AEW, but they're
The All Elite Fleet.
Yeah, Mega Ran's playing NBA Jam. Everyone knows the NBA Jam. He's a good guy.
Tremendous.
If you guys want to go hang out with him, watch some NBA Jam. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy. I guess it's Monday. It's Raw. Fuck, today's been so long.
Must be Monday.
Yeah, I guess.
Jeremy. Must be Monday.
Doesn't it look like must be? I don't know.
Must be.
There's only 2 Thunderdome Raw left. Joseph, you excited?
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Y'all enjoy y'all's night.